select the maps that they want?
There are a pool of 7 maps.
Okay.
And for a best of 5, each player will ban 1 map. If I can remember correctly, the higher seed bans first. So in this case, TheMax would ban a map, then Lix would ban a map, and then they would pick 1 map for Max, 2 maps for Lix, and then Max would decide the order of the final 2.
Right.
So in this case, Max chose Clearing to be the first played map out of these available
Okay, and that I
ones
think
here.
makes a lot of sense. He would have been picking this at off the high of beating the Viper.
Exactly. And he picked it against the Viper as well because he was 2nd seed against the Viper.
Right. So, I think clearing a map that TheMax likes, is good at, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does here on game number 1, which will be starting any
Just
moment,
a moment now. Let me load up the record game, get into that.
So Lix, all I know is it's a Chinese player team. And
yes, he is a Chinese player who plays in a team. That is correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, is the extent of what I know. But looks like Herion is gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers for the support. Welcome everybody to the team, helping us support competitive Age of Empires, putting on tournaments and show matches and LANs and all sorts of cool, fun things.
Yeah, speaking of LANs, we do have the ECL LAN Grand Finals coming up. So there is certainly that. You can buy tickets now if you're interested in coming on our website, which we'll link in the description. Check it out. It's a really nice website, actually.
!LAN gives you all the information you need. You can get on there, check out either the AoE 3 New World Championships LAN
And there's a
or
couple of
the ECL LAN.
some news posts as well. I believe Nimino and myself, we've written some news posts, so they'll be out there soon as well. But let's get into this. Spawning on the bottom of the map in the color blue, we do have TheMax. This is the position he was playing from, on the bottom in that previous game we saw on this map. So this already spells good omens if anything's going to happen.
It does, but TheMax has chosen a different civ this time.
Okay.
He's gone for the Italians instead of the Britons.
All right, tell us about the Italians. I don't know.
They are very much a water civ. They are considered one of the top tier civs.
I'll stop you there. That doesn't seem very good already.
Yeah, very not good. You can see there is a sea of trees over here, but that's not really
not the right
water,
sea.
not the right sea. So their main bonuses are cheaper fishing ships and cheaper upgrades in the docks. Following that, they have slightly cheaper aging up. So they can go to feudal age or castle age, a little bit faster. They don't need as much food or gold. But is it enough to take it against a civ such as the Celts, which Lix has over here on the northwest of the map, which are considered, a very fast civ in feudal age because of their man-at-arm rush, forward tower aggression. And then if they get to late game, Celts have one of the best late games you can possibly have. They've got incredibly powerful siege, incredibly good infantry, a lot of units that individually either aren't incredibly expensive in infantry units or are incredibly powerful in siege. So they've got a relatively cost-effective combo for the late game.
Right. That sounds pretty good. Celt sounds pretty solid, but Robo, let's not be naive. He picked them for a reason.
Right.
Do you know what that reason is?
I would assume that he's thinking, okay, man-at-arm aggression seems to be the sort of play. Forward towers, stuff like that. Italians can age up faster. Makes sense. The first to feudal can deal the most damage, possibly. Right. I would assume that's the sort of thing he is thinking.
Okay, well, it seems all right. You said Celts are quite quick. Aging up faster is possibly going to match that. At least that's what it would sound like to me. No water here, so I won't be seeing that element of the Italians. Perhaps their unique unit? What is it?
Their unique unit is a special crossbow, the Genoese crossbow, which has an attack bonus versus cavalry, which is really nice if you're fighting versus a cavalry civ, but Celts are definitely not a cavalry civ.
No? Do you not think that, I don't know, of course, but there's lots of chokes and clearings, crossbowmen behind walls, and it's very easy to wall on a choky map. Maybe those would be strong in a situation like that.
It could be, but the Celts do have onagers and scorpions and siege weapons that are good at mowing down archers like that.
Right.
And I feel like the Italian pick was more picked as a counter to, say, Spanish. Right? We saw the Viper pick Spanish, and I believe last time Lix played this map, he also picked the Spanish, if I can remember correctly. So maybe he's saying, if I get to late game, I can make the Genoese Expos, and I can use them to counter the Paladins, the Conquistadors, the Hussars that I expect to see. and then also back up my army with maybe some gunpowder or
Right.
some other unit type to flesh it out.
How about their unique tech?
It's +1 armor for their archery units. So again, it sort of just keeps playing into the same sort of role.
Nothing, it's not like super unique in the sense that it's Wirewolf, which seems like no other Civ can do what Trebs do what the Trebs do.
Their secondary unique tech is trade units are cheaper, which is awesome for team games, but this is not a team game,
okay.
so not useful whatsoever.
Yeah, this pick seems it's not as clear cut or as obvious as say the Britons where he previously picked it. But it looks like we're well into age 2 now. It looks like there's a drush coming. Well, not into age 2, but certainly aging up. A couple of militia coming forward with the scout as well, but the Maxi has got his racks down, and that gate is going to stop them from coming in time. There is another passage into his base. We will see if he gets down there. There could be an opportunity. I don't think there's a villager near enough to block that.
Not at all. This villager could maybe get here to build a gate, but then he also needs to send one of these berry villagers to wall up this bottom area here. And
those militia are coming in.
They are in.
Lix has found a way into the base. Let's see what these militia can do. There's only 2 of them, and indeed the scout as well, which is going on ahead to scout, I suppose.
Yeah,
find
scout
some,
ahead, find somewhere to attack.
There's the 3rd militia tailing behind. Let's see what he can get done. He's heading straight towards those berries. New subscription coming in from so I'll let you say that.
De Santiago?
Yeah, okay. That's exactly what I had in my mind. Yep.
You've obviously never played the El Cid campaign in AoE 2.
No, I have, actually.
Oh, well.
But clearly I don't remember it.
No, fair enough.
Militia fight, though. There's 3 on 3, and both scouts are here. This is a great time to select all the units. Yeah, that's right.
We can see. But Max is halfway up to man-at-arms. He really doesn't really want to take a fight until that upgrade, because once he gets the upgrade, he just instant wins a fight.
Yep.
But before then, he could maybe lose, 1 or 2 militia, and then the upgrade comes in, and it's a bit of a waste of resources.
What's that on the front?
Forward villagers from Lix. He's got 5 forward villagers there, and another militia, and he's getting man-at-arms for himself. And here we see, this is the Celt bonus. Their infantry walk slightly faster as well. So he's just legging it. Like, these man-at-arms are chasing, and they're just running. They're running.
I thought that wasn't going to work out, but he zipped through there very quickly. He's doing just fine.
And he's also
tower coming down now on the front there.
Defensive tower. He scouted the forward tower from Lix, but I feel like at this point, Lix might have an advantage here. He's got more villagers building the tower. He could potentially pick off a villager, or maybe this tower's just out of range. Oh, he can't hit the villagers. But the man-at-arms are going to try to bust through this wall, and then they're going to walk over here and try to attack this tower.
And they're covered by a tower of their own, so this is looking really, really nice.
Yep, here we see. We're going to see 2 of them attacking the tower, and the other 2 just sitting there to provide some support, take down the surrounding buildings.
Yeah, and that tower obviously can't shoot down, which is
not good. He has no way to kill these man-at-arms, and man-at-arms have an attack bonus versus buildings.
Are they just going to beat through that tower? Is that tower gone? Is it done for?
Not initially, but it will go down at some point here. And we see the counterattack coming out. Max sending out his own man-at-arms to try to take down Lix's opposing tower. But, this villager is going down ever so slowly. But the vill's popping out of the tower.
And the man-at-arms, they've not turned around. One does now turn around there.
But as soon as they walk away from the tower just starts shooting them again.
Yeah.
So it's a very tricky micro scenario here.
It's a situation you don't want to find yourself in.
No, it is not. And there we see the man-at-arms. They're all going down here. Lix clearing up Max's army. And then this tower is going to fall pretty soon. He's having to build some more walls behind the tower.
And I think behind this, he's transitioning into archers. I saw fletching coming in.
I think the fletching was purely just to upgrade the tower.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And I think that fletching was done by Lix, actually. I'm not sure if there's a blacksmith just yet. No, Max doesn't have his own blacksmith yet. So Lix got fletching so that he could attack the villagers that were repairing the tower.
That's who I thought got the fletching. Did I say Max? Whoops.
Alright, sorry, I thought you were talking about Max. But here we see the man-at-arms, they're bashing away at this gate. The forward tower is here. And Max, he's got no stone. He can't build a defensive tower at the moment. And both of his stones are forward here.
Wow.
Once this tower goes up, he has no access to stone. He's not going to be able to make castles for Giano's expos, as we were talking about earlier. He's not going to be able to continue building defensive towers like this. Well, that villager getting nailed instantly by the tower. These other ones, trying to juke to the side, managing to just get away. But, okay, he's got 1 more stone over here to this side of his base. He can continue trying to stay alive here, but this gate is possibly going to go down. Max, he doesn't have enough stone to build a stone gate here, and the man-at-arms, they're breaking in. He's got 1 tower trying to go up on the gold. He's got the quick walls here. But Lix has more villagers building, and all the house is down.
Lix
Another
is
villager.
through. The bleeding has started. The Vils are pushing forward, building outposts or watchtowers closer and closer. The man-at-arms, they're pushing the Vils off the gold there. And even a wolf has been let in as well. They do go into the town center. The man-at-arms are going to have to get back there, but he's idling up the Max, and this is not looking ideal for him. Villagers coming even further forward to drop another tower, really locking out those 2 stone piles and even that gold pile as well. Max sold 100 wood. He's feeling the pressure. He's trying to find resources, gathering from those straggler trees, even being pushed off the mill.
I think he's trying to buy more stone for more defensive towers. And here we see he's possibly going to lose access to his wood pretty soon. You know, 2 more towers, and then Lix is going to encircle this TC, trap in this wood line, and just kill these villagers with the tower. And 5 man-at-arms here. They kill palisade walls really quickly. Faster?
Repair, villager! Go, go, go! He can't keep up, though, but he does slam down another one.
Just in time.
Wow, that was quick. He built that very fast. That's one thing about AoE 2. Buildings just have a lot of HP and build quickly.
Yeah, they just pop up. 1 villager going down here for Lix, and it looks like he may have overextended a little bit here. These villagers...
Here goes Max. He's slamming down the tower. There's a lot of villagers on there. He needs this up. He needs to get it up. It's going to go up, surely. There's so many villagers there.
I will for sure, but he might lose a villager or 2, which he doesn't want to do. And he was trying to do some sneaky gates here to trap these villagers in. Try to get some counter vill kills, but oh no, the man-at-arms are in on the wood line. Oh no, they all have to run away now.
Yeah, gonna have to get back there. Wood is denied, and what's going on the stone pile at the top? Because that's what he needs to keep. He's still gathering from that.
He's got idle villagers though, but he has built a defensive tower to keep it secured.
He's got stone income. If he can keep getting these defensive towers up, that's how you handle these offensive towers, right?
That's the best way to do it, but the problem is when you're behind on a couple of villages here, there's this big group of man-at-arms roaming around the back of your base, threatening to kill villagers. There goes one. Possibly looking to get one of these other injured villagers like this guy here.
He's trying to get back into the wood line. No, he's not. He's just going to gather that one tree. God,
and he's going to lose at least another villager or 2, I think, here.
Can he fight them with the Vils? I suppose every time he does, they just run away.
He can try to fight, right? That's what he wants to do, but Lix wants him to do that as well.
Yeah.
Because every time he fights, he's not gathering wood. He's idling his eco, and if Max doesn't pay attention, Lix can just walk in here and kill any one of these injured villagers. Right? We see he's trying to dive in for this injured guy at the back, but
he's
not
trying.
good.
Those man-at-arms are doing a lot of work.
Right. Max is, in theory, winning this, right? He's taking down the man-at-arms, but there goes another villager. He's going to possibly lose... No, he hasn't lost any more, but there's a couple of ill kills and a ton of idle time on that.
Yeah. Lix is 3 Vils up, and not to mention all that idle time as well. He's really pushed in there. He's got 3 towers secured, actually 4 towers, an archery range there, and indeed whatever he's building right now.
He's building a market, and he has the resources to go up to Castle Age.
But why? Why is the market here?
His villagers are here. You need to make them useful, right?
Oh, okay, sure.
Like, may as well build it somewhere, and instead of idling villagers at home, use the villas that are already idle.
Oh, right, yeah, I guess they've not got resources already. Sorry, I come from a background where you just pull any villager.
Yeah. Well, because it's still like taking a villager away from gather time, right? If you build the market with this villager here, she's not gathering any wood.
Yeah, I know.
But they're idle anyway, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Archers coming in. Couple of archers there. He is building a tower by the looks of it, so that will repel the archers away. But he might pick off a couple of idols. Those Vils have got reasonably high health. All the really low ones are on the back.
That one's going to go down. He could, if he comes over here, there's these 2 villagers here. They've got almost no HP. There's 2 more over here that are injured.
Yeah.
But now Max is just going to get the Vil bash on while they're trapped here at the bottom.
Okay, so let's take a step back. Lynx is going up to Castle Age. He's got a really, really nice foothold in his opponent's base here, and he's also 3 Vils up. I would say he'd won this sort of early portion of the game. It really is now down to Max to come back. He's going to have to perform if he's to win in the Castle Age. I don't know if he can even get there. Lix is going to be up very soon.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Max can, even hope to do. Yes, he has slightly cheaper aging up. He can go up to Castle Age. He only needs 680 food.
Okay, so that helps on every age up.
At every age up, it's a little bit cheaper, which is, it helps. It's nice. But when your opponent already hits Castle Age, is possibly, he's got the forward stables. He's going to start making knights. He can also make a siege workshop and get some siege weapons pretty soon. These knights, they don't care if you have a tower. They will just sit under the tower and destroy them. And Max is like,
that is GG.
I'm nowhere near castle myself.
Did he see? He just saw the notification came in like we saw before. Can we take a look at Lix's base? We never really got to see it. I'm sure it's not overly important, but it's nice to see what he was doing back home as well.
Really, not a lot. He had a couple of walls here on the
gathering.
stone, and then gathering resources and just having a
Not-
pretty on-point economy. Like, he's not floating anything. Max has 400 stone in the bank that really doesn't help him at all.
Yeah. Well done. Lix
So-
picks up game number 1 there
Yeah.
on a map that actually I think Max
Max
was
chose.
hoping to do well on and perform.
Max definitely wanted to get the win there,
No.
but we're gonna have to see if maybe he can bring it back on the maps that Lix has chosen.
Yeah, and that's, if you can't get a win on your own map, it's always annoying, I suppose. That's the one you picked, but he's not out yet. He did beat Viper, so I'm expecting good things from Max. Let's see what he can do. Fortress coming up. It is Regicide Fortress, which is interesting. I really like that dynamic. I have a love-hate relationship with it, actually. I'm not...
Why is that? Why do you love it and why do you hate it?
Well, I love it because if you kill the king, you win. And I hate it because if your king dies, you lose.
Ah, makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense.
There you
I
go.
get you there. You're talking from experience.
yeah. Yeah. I hate that, but I love it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think we'll get straight into game 2. I think we're all excited to see can Max.
Can you start with a castle? I'm getting confused between arena and fortress. They're different.
They are very different. Switch into the game here. And yes, on Fortress, you start off with many more villages. You start off with 10 villages.
Farms, houses, and a barracks to boot.
Barracks, yep. You got all these resources. You start off with more food than normal. You
Well,
start with the castle, the
It really
scout,
is
the
a
king.
fortress, isn't it? You start with a fortress. So then
That's
the,
why it's a fortress.
the penny is in the pudding. Is that what they say? I don't know what they say.
That sounds like a very British thing.
The truth is in the pudding. I don't know what it is. Anyway, there's a fortress. We can see it. All
That's
right.
it.
How does this change the game? I'm expecting, stone walls. These regular stone walls.
They are regular stone walls.
Okay, and castles and watchtowers, that's going to provide a lot of defense. And I have a feeling we're just going to see people abandon any pretense of feudal aggression and
yeah.
just go straight up to castle and even imperial. Is that how this plays out?
There is zero reason to even think about doing feudal aggression because
It's not possible.
the best thing you can hope to do is like tower rush your opponent.
Okay.
But, if you're lucky like Max here and he has all the towers on like the front and sides,
yeah.
you're going to tower rush and he already has towers there, so you can't
So,
really do anything.
Are these I assume these fortresses are closed and there's never an opening.
No.
So it's not even like you could sneak a villager in like a
Maybe-
one tile gap where a wall hasn't spawned or something.
You could if they accidentally hold the gate open for you.
But they're gonna see you do that, right?
Yeah, you
And-
can't possibly
And
sneak
that
your
involves
way
you
in.
having a forward villager.
Yeah, at the right
for this,
time.
For this really unlikely situation.
Exactly.
Something I noticed about this base is that gate's got a gold pile in front of it.
Yes, you
And
cannot
he
use that
can't
gate.
he can't exit? Is that why the scout's still in his base?
You can use these
There's
other gates.
Right, right.
It just, sometimes that just happens to be where it spawns. And
Right, that's why there's multiple gates. Can you imagine being stuck? I suppose you just delete a wall.
You delete a wall or you make a new gate to
Yeah.
replace it. Like,
Yeah, okay.
That is fine. You can get through that.
Right, right.
But here we have Max playing here as the Vikings. We've seen Civ many times so far. They have an incredible boom, and really, the way they seem to play this map is you get up to Castle Age, you get some defensive monks, defensive siege possibly, and your TCs, and you just try to boom like a madman while defending yourself.
Like Mad Max.
Like Mad Max, exactly. Whereas the other Civ may be the Spanish or the Britons or the Berbers or something like that has an aggressive unique unit. They try to, play more aggressively, maybe some forward siege, forward monks, and use their unique units to try to raid exposed villages, right?
Okay.
Like,
So,
you try to run around here and you, shoot the villagers over the walls if there isn't anything to defend them.
question.
Yes.
Because this map is much less aggressive, and you see... I guess, obviously, your Civ's very, very important. I'd like you to, if you could explain why Spanish and Vikings has been picked. But also, does the uniqueness that each Civ has in it come out to play a bit more? You're talking about those unique units that, probably take the games in directions that, because I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Are we going to see unique units?
Oftentimes, yes. Well, from the Spanish, 100%. Conquistadors are an amazing unit for their cost and for the age you can build them in.
Right.
They are commonly called an Imperial Age unit you can make in the Castle Age. That's how good they are once you get some upgrades on them.
Right, that sounds pretty good.
So you want to be making them and abusing how strong they are and trying to push your opponents, deal some damage. The counter to that is the Spanish don't really have an eco bonus. Right, they have an incredibly strong unit and a pretty good tech tree, but no real eco to back it up.
Yeah. So,
Vikings are sort of the opposite. They don't have any incredibly overpowered units, I say like overpowered in like quotation marks, like not necessarily OP, but
you dissing the berserk, Robo. Are you saying the berserk is not actually all that berserk?
the berserk is a good unit for sure, but it's not
It's no
always
conquistador.
viable. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Like you've got a melee unit with 60, 70 HP chasing down a guy who's on a horse and has a gun, right? It doesn't really work. They just run back and they shoot you, and then they run back and shoot you some more.
Okay.
And it doesn't end up really getting you anywhere.
Right, so Vikings relying on not necessarily berserks. There's something else about the Civ. I was actually having this discussion in my Discord of all places.
Yep.
That Vikings, I actually know why they've perhaps been picked, because of the free handcart and indeed wheelbarrow.
Exactly.
They take a long time to research, they're expensive, and on a map where you're just booming all day long, that's going to give you some extra time to get those villagers in, where you would, that time you would actually usually be spending to actually research the upgrade. We're gonna see perhaps a stronger boom from Vikings. Is that why it's been picked?
Definitely what his plan is. He just wants to defend himself, boom, and get up to Imperial Age and make Arbalests or probably Arbalests, and maybe add in some Berserks later in the game.
Vikings, and traditionally I think people think of, they're really strong on water, but this is a land map through and through, and here they are.
Vikings, they've always been a decent land map civ. Not the top 5, but normally in the top half. Simply because free wheelbarrow and free handcart is insanely good for your economy.
Get those effects instantly, and also you don't have to research it.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. So just slow and steady, that's what we're seeing here. Both players just booming away, training villagers, going up to Castle Age with really no qualms at all. They're not expecting any kind of aggression, just trying to get those optimal booms and builds in.
No, Max is expecting aggression from Lix. Lix is planning on being aggressive. We see here forward villager coming in. There's going to be a siege workshop somewhere, I assume.
I guess the word aggression is relative, right? On a map like this, aggression is more like
Castle Age aggression.
Yeah, Castle Age stuff.
It's not feudal aggression, it's castle aggression.
Yeah, okay.
But this is still, it's 11 minutes in the game. It's the same time as a feudal rush, but because of the extra villages and the free farms and all those other nice things in your base, you're doing it at the same time, just one extra age up.
Yeah, it just accelerates the sort of pace of the game almost.
Exactly. It's
you
much
end
faster.
up in Castle Age when you'd usually be feudal. It's actually a lot of fun. I think this map's really interesting, actually. I'm quite enjoying this. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But forward Siege Workshop coming down from Lix here. And in queue, can we see that? I assume...
He's just waiting for the resources to make a mangonel. There we go, popping up. And for Max, he's got the one defensive TC on this side to sort of secure some of this wood line and defend his gold a little bit.
Yeah, no,
to prevent the conquistadors, just camping out here and firing away overwards.
As well. Surely monks are not going to be very effective against conquistadors.
They are pretty good if you can get the converts off.
Oh, is it the range, I suppose?
Exactly.
Right.
You've got 9 range, they've only got 6.
I was expecting the guy to just rush in there and execute this old man waving his stick.
That is what they want to do.
That happens too.
Yeah, it's it depends a little bit on the RNG of the monks.
Okay.
If you can get some converts off, then you can turn it around because you're converting an incredibly powerful unit.
Right, so now pushing forward with the mangonel, and Hafsta has a villager on standby at all times just to get the repair in.
Yep.
Guess the towers are quite strong, so you do need a guy to repair your siege equipment.
It would slowly go down over time.
Here we go, though.
But once it gets garrisoned like this and it starts firing extra arrows, it's going to start killing the mangonel pretty quickly.
The story does it. This is really interesting because that forward castle is only useful to Max as a defensive structure, but for Lix it's a production building.
Exactly.
Whereas can't really do that. Can't really be making berserks. They're not as useful.
For sure. And we're going to see here the problem that Lick sort of has is Max's base is very fortunate for him. He has these towers all on the front side. Right, if we quickly just skip over here, he has 2 towers on the left and 2 towers on the far top
one
corner,
even on as far back as it goes.
So if the positions were reversed and Max was in Lix's position, and any aggression on this side would be unopposed. But Max luckily has his towers on the correct side of his base. Even this one here defending this wood line.
They're upgraded now.
Yes, he has built a university, his research guard tower. Because he's recognized, okay, there's the mangonels and conquistadors outside my base. I want to defend myself and keep booming.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. I don't want to be aggressive or anything like that. I just want to stop him from killing my bills. So he's also, mining stone here. He's going to start building more defensive towers, it seems.
So his game plan seems a bit different. Lix's game plan is, I'm going to come forward, get some mangonels out, start sieging, use my castle to get that really strong conquistador, as you were saying. But Max, his game plan is just, stem the bleeding, hold on, and boom it out, and, perhaps what, get up to the Imperial Age or something?
Get to the Imperial Age and start making arbalests.
Okay, so he's got a very different plan, and the question is, will it work? Can he hold, or will these conquistadors be too much to handle? Getting into that tower, the villagers, he's on top there. How much work can they really get done? They're inside now, but there's, as you said, guard towers and a castle.
All these towers in the castle, he could try just running past
And
the
monks
TC
too.
and sitting on this side. But I feel like he wouldn't get too much done, because running past the 2 towers and then to TC, he's probably going to lose 1 or 2 of them. And then if the monks can get 1 or 2 converts as well, then, all of a sudden there's no longer 4 conks, there's only 2. And your 2 are going to fight his 2, and, maybe it all just equals out and there's nothing left in your base.
Right.
So he doesn't want to take a big risk like that, and we see this by he's adding a second TC at home.
Okay, so it's not like all in, it's just a bit of aggression, see what he can get done.
And then,
force a reaction more than anything else. Like, he forced the university, I don't know if he was going to build that anyway, but certainly he forced guard tower and stuff like that.
For sure. And like if his aggression is working out, well, the next time he can keep investing into it, keep making more military units. But if, like this case here, he hasn't managed to deal nearly enough damage, he just sort of says, okay, I tried. I forced him to, get guard tower, build the university earlier than he wants to. Probably delayed his TCs a little bit as well.
And that's enough for Lix. He's happy with that outcome. Not going to push it any further, and I can see why he wouldn't want to, right? Like, those conks went in there, and they were just like, nah, screw this, and noped out of there. Not going to get it. Monks Co. Is the conversions coming in? Yes, one conversion, and he's going to pull it off.
But
Mangonels.
There's the 2 mangonels, he's just moving around the other side,
Dodged.
seeing...
Old man, go!
Can he get anything on this
Oh,
side?
no! There's a cav. No, he's not too interested in that man.
I feel like the scout should have tried to kill the monk, but no worries.
That monk's fine. I'm going to call him Fred. He got out of there just fine. He's met up with George, Billy, and Albert.
Okay, which one's Fred?
The one on the top.
Okay, we'll come back to the one on the top another time then.
All right, then. I can't even remember all their names. Don't ask me. That was 4 of them. All right, then.
Okay, it was Fred, George, Albert.
Relic has been collected.
And something else.
So does Lix have monks too? Then he must do.
He does. Whereabouts is his monastery? There it is, back at home. Just because he does technically have map control, right? With the conquistadors and mangonels running around, he sort of prevents Max from getting out there and grabbing the relics himself.
Okay.
So he can move over here, grab this one, grab this one.
That's true. That is one thing he's gotten going out of this aggression too. And in a way, that's sort of like a bit of bonus eco, right? Not to mention like super late game gold if it comes to it.
Yeah, for sure. And we see like Max
Paul,
managed
John,
to get...
Luke, and Marcus would have been much better biblical names. Yes, you're right. Whoopsie daisy. But I'm sticking with Fred, George, Albert,
and whoever the other guy is that we forgot about.
Yeah.
Max did manage to sneak out and grab the 1 relic, but the big thing here is, he's already got the 15 villager lead. They're equal on TCs, but we see Max is already starting to save up for Imperial Age. Right, he's got the gold he needs. He's getting pretty close to the food he needs. It looks like he's even... No, he is still making villagers. He doesn't want to cut that just yet.
Billy, that was it.
I was Billy. Yeah. And Lix is even adding in a 4th TC at home.
Okay.
He's thinking, okay, I'm behind on eco. If I can get back into it, if I can start to overboom a little bit, do more eco than my opponent, maybe I can catch up.
He's compensating.
But the problem with that is, the fact that you're playing catch up in the first place. Max is up to Imperial Age. Lix has 400 food. Not even half of what he needs to go to Imperial Age. And his aggression really has not paid off at all. And we see here, Max is starting to come forwards, building an archery range. He's researching crossbow as well in these other ranges at home. And he's going to just push in with maybe some trebuchets from his castle and arbalests. And
there's a history lesson to be learned here, I think. If the Vikings had started with stone walls and keeps in real life, they would have gone on to conquer the world. Clearly, that's what we're
right.
That's
makes sense.
That's how that
they
works.
haven't conquered the world yet.
But what I'm saying, it's a really interesting dynamic. Actually, I saw the siege coming forward, and I thought, oh god, Max, this isn't looking good. You're not doing anything. But he held on really nicely. It was really fun to watch. I'm pleased to see this like 2 different styles here. And now looks like Max, he's gotten past that sort of, early portion where he's looking, where he has to hold, and now he's ready to push out. Imperial Age coming in, starting to build these forward military structures.
Starting to get an upgraded military here.
Yeah, and he will be going out on the offensive very soon.
And we see here, he's getting up to Imperial Age around 25 minutes, which is, a normal castle age time on another map. Fortress, specifically Regicide Fortress, just tunes everything up to the max. It's so much faster. And we're just going to see can Lix possibly defend against this early, soon-to-be Arbalest push? Because if he can, his eco is going to start to catch up. The Spanish possibly have a slightly better Imperial Age than the Vikings. They've got a little bit of a wider tech tree. They've got better cavalry. They've still got decent infantry, good trash, good siege as well. The problem is, can he defend from these soon-to-be
Mangonel
Arbs?
War, though.
2 for 1, possibly?
Well, does... No,
Oh,
he
just
gets
the
one.
one.
He gets the one. It does
Ooh.
get a counter shot on those crossbows. It was a little bit too late, but the Conks is going to finish it off, but not before he loses one, and possibly the second one dodges those crossbows and does finish off the Mangonel. So lost 2 of his for a volley on the crossbows, and then traded, I think, 2 Conquistadors for the second there, but no more siege equipment.
Yep.
Crossbows coming forward. Might be able to snipe that monkey.
Definitely gets him. And we see here Lix, he's up to imp himself, a little bit slow, about 3 minutes, and he's just teching immediately into elite skirmishes. He knows there are Arbalests coming. I need skirmishes, the anti-archer unit that I can make. The problem is, all these villages on these forward farms, this forward wood line, the forward stone, they're all vulnerable now. And we're going to see Max start to mass rams pretty soon. They're going to come in. I think it's probably... Yep, there we are. There's a trebuchet coming in. And wow, this is Stray Mangonel. Where are you going, buddy?
Yeah, that mango.
You can maybe get some shots off in these villages.
Is he lost? Yeah, those vills. Is he gonna? He's just gonna walk by.
He's just going to walk by and die.
Okay. Oh,
He does shoot once, and he doesn't kill a single villager.
rest in peace.
This guy goes down to 1 HP, but he survives. And oh boy,
Arbalest in. Rams coming out. Monks are now gonna... Is that a castle?
that is a forward
Here we go.
castle.
Forward castle. Looks like Maxi's fully up to Imperial now, and he's looking to be aggressive. He's out for blood. Coming forward with the siege equipment, and let's see what he can get done here.
Well, this is excellent. Like, this denies, this forward TC denies this gold from Lix, which is going to hurt him as he gets Imperial Age, because you want your gold to get Imperial Age units, get your upgrades in, and this is going to go
Skirms
down
coming
really
out, though.
quickly. There's not enough of them.
Oh, okay. All
There's
right.
only 5 or 6 skirms there against, 12 or so Arbs.
Oh, God, I wish he'd baited him into shooting the mango shot on his units or something. Does that ever happen?
Does, like, if you walk your skirmisher right next to the Arbs, the Mangonel might shoot your army.
Okay, but most of the time players are good enough to not.
So,
That
yeah,
happens.
try to avoid that
Right,
at
right.
all costs.
But he's got chemistry in as well. Is heated shot, is that a thing?
That affects towers against boats.
Oh, okay.
So definitely not useful
Okay,
on
right,
this map.
right. But my point is, the cannonballs, pardon me, the trebuchet balls, they're glowing orange, Robo.
They are on fire, chemistry, as everybody
That's
knows.
the point I wanted to make.
Yeah. That's why people go to university and study chemistry, so that they can burn things.
Right.
Let's be
Everyone's
honest.
an arsonist. Got it.
Yeah, everyone's an arsonist. And we see here just these Arbalests, they're all just streaming forwards, more trebuchets coming in. The forward production building to keep making trebs as well as here now. The Rams are going to keep going in, try to take down this TC soon. And Lix's eco, he's still 10 mils behind. Plus he has 25 idle villagers at the moment.
Oh, that's what the brackets are.
Yeah, the bracket number is the number of
more you
idle
know.
bills.
The more you know.
And he's trying to defend himself. He's got some trebuchets of his own. He's going to Vilbash down the Ram, it seems, because it is undefended. But Max doesn't seem too worried at the moment. Very soon, he's just going to keep pushing in. The Treb on the TC now. And Lix got this villager roaming around the outside, but really nothing happening right now for him militarily at all. He's got a handful of skirms, and that's all. And oh boy, we're seeing the Berserks, just like you wanted.
We are.
The Berserks probably making them as a counter skirmisher unit.
So what is it that they do? They what role are they playing? Countering skirmishes, right?
And that's what Max is going to use them for, I guess. They're a fast infantry unit. They can run around. They can get up close to the skirms and start hacking at them with their axes. They've got decent HP stats, and once you get upgrades, they've got decent pierce armor as well, so they're not going to die too easily to the skirms.
And do they, I've heard, for some reason, my childhood's calling it. It's saying they heal if they stand still.
Not if they stand still, they just passively heal
All right.
over time.
That's cool.
But we're going to see a big ram rush coming out. Another thing the Berserk's going to be good for, taking down these rams.
Okay.
You can maybe just, yep, they're just going to charge
They're
over
gonna
there.
have to be quick. I've heard rams are pretty good against trebs.
Yeah, the Treb is probably going to die, but if he can save the castle, I think that's worthwhile for himself, because that means he's still got this forward position fully secured.
The Arbalests.
The Arbs are coming over as well. And look,
The race is on. Go, go, go.
but yeah, the Rams, they're going down. The Berserks are cleaning up. The castle is going to survive. That poor Mangonel does die, unfortunately. But here, Max is in a pretty commanding position. Like, these skirms, they're slowly hacking away, slowly throwing all of their spears at the berserks and taking forever to kill them.
Yeah. That click on the castle, is that it's less than half health, and I don't think he's going to be able to kill the Treb. Well, he's certainly not. There's no way in
The
hell.
3 Trebs are going to take it down, but
yeah, and Ram's coming in behind this.
Lix has taken quite a few losses trying to get down this castle. Max lost a handful of berserks, which really are pretty cheap units, considering what they deal. But Lix, he's lost a bunch of rams.
So he paid for it.
Yeah.
He got the castle, but he did have to pay for it.
And Max is just continuing to get ahead, right? He's still got the 10-bill lead. He's got double the military. He's just going to keep massing up. He's still upgrading his berserks. They're elite now. He's just waiting for the final armor upgrade.
Right, so he's looking pretty good. He just needs to not make any big mistakes, right? And then game's probably in his court, so to speak. So it's on Lix to do something. And that's what he's doing there on the south, by the way. Was that was that a sneaky castle?
Yeah, a sneaky TC here to try to secure this extra gold.
Okay.
Just preparing for the late game.
So this is the kind of stuff I think we need to see from Lix to get into this game, to have a chance of winning. Big, massive berserks. They are being converted, but you said they're cheap. Probably not a big deal. Arbalest to support them there. The Trebuchet's trying to get back, and Mangonel's
trying to get one shot off on the skirmishes just to kill them all. That's what he wants to see. And by the way, if he can destroy this monastery, Max can possibly sneak in here, steal these relics, take them back to his base, and make them his own.
Yeah. And I remember. Oh, this is Conquest. The relics you can't.
Relic victories are not a thing at all. Okay. Like, these berserks, they're going down to the concentrated fire from the castle and the mass skirms. But while the skirms are over here, fleeing, trying to find safety from the berserks, the Arbs and Mangonels are continuing to push around this side, trying to find some damage that they can deal. And he's even got a couple of Arbs just roaming around trying to find these stray villages that are all over the map for Lix.
Yeah, and he's just being very diligent, right? He wants to keep the pressure all on the front of Lix's base, and by roaming the map, searching for any villages that might divert his attention, should they build some structures, some military buildings, and start training units somewhere else, and then he has to pull away from the main fight, just preemptively stopping that from happening. I like to see that.
And he's even preparing another push from a different angle from this hill at the back of Lix's base. Push down here, get onto this wood line, harass these farmers here. And then also switching onto this side. He's like, okay, there's a castle and trebuchets here. I'll just go over to this side where there's no castle and no trebuchets.
The juicy underbelly of the base.
Oh, yeah.
Outside the fort, not near the castle. And look at all these plebs farming away. They're going to get battered.
They're going to get battered down. These rams, they're in here. They're going to start to take down the TT pretty quickly. The Mangonels there for support as well. And also just a map control castle here from Max. Doesn't really do anything by itself. But the two of these just sort of cut off this middle line of the map, giving him a position to sort of just secure himself and push out from if the worst may happen.
These rams are bopping down the buildings now.
Yep, the bombard cannons dealing decent damage, but those are some nice mangonel shots on the skirmishers. Oh boy.
Yeah, they may be good against. Oh, but the mangoes are down. Those bombards,
yeah, but they're still.
achieving.
Look at the numbers though, right?
That many units versus even their counter. Not
yeah,
the more numbers principle overruns here.
It almost always works.
But I'm pretty pleased. We're seeing cannons. This is what I want to see.
Yeah, we're seeing a huge range of units coming out here. Otherwise, oh boy, there's some more berserks coming in. There's a couple of hand cannons out as well to try to counter the berserks.
All right, that's okay.
But oh man, this push here on the north side. Lix has no army nearby to defend this. He's streaming skirmishes over here, but Max has his own skirms and his own berserks and even rams coming in here to attack. And on this side, he's like, okay, I've lost a couple things. I'm going to fall back and then push on this side as well. So you can't defend both sides of your base at the same time. Where your army is not, that's where I will go.
Yeah, Lix is having a hard time here. He's trying to push out. He is making counter units, though, so perhaps it's working. Starting to make some ground here with the bombard cannons.
And the trebs. But look at how much gold he has in the bank. He has 2,500 gold in the bank. Max has 300.
Oh, that changes things.
If Lix has a way to spend this gold, and here we see he's taking the Cavalier, you need to recognize that there is something that he can do, something he can spend that gold on. Cavaliers and probably Paladins after that. The possible problem for that, though, is Berserks. Their unique tech chieftains gives them +4 attack against cavalry. So they sort of become a mini pikeman.
Right.
Well, actually, it gives all their infantry extra attack versus cav, so it buffs their pikemen as well.
Oh, hot damn. You have insane units versus cavalry. That's awkward. I mean, he's got a lot of gold, and given that it's finite, I want to see him use it in a way that is really, really effective.
Right. He
And
needs to prepare a big counter push and
he's-
clean everything
He's
up.
making bombard cannons and the mini bombard.
The hand
guys.
cannons.
Hand cannons and bombard, all the cannons.
And the horse cannons as well.
Is it? Yeah, of course. Yeah. Cavalry. No, it's like cavalry archer. It'd be cavalry gunman. There you go.
Cavalry gunman. Yep. And just still running around doing some raiding.
But how expensive
pushing in.
is that upgrade then for the berserks and to get
To
the?
chieftains, it's 300 food, 300 gold,
It's
something
not
like
even
that.
like that's expensive.
No.
So I wonder what these cavalry can get done. Let's see what he can do with the gold then, because at the moment that's his one advantage.
He's got a
Otherwise,
huge stockpile of gold.
Max is just running him ragged all around the map, is just causing issues, and he's just playing a very reactive game. He can't do anything he wants to do. He just has to respond to what Max wants to do.
Every single time. We see here 30 villager lead, 40 military lead as well. Max is just overwhelming him with numbers and overwhelming him with attacks. And there we see it. Lix calling the GG.
GG coming in there, not going to spend that gold after all. But that was a really, really interesting game. I love that dynamic at the start, the forward, siege workshops, the aggression to begin with. Didn't look like Max was really doing anything about it, but I guess he spawned with exactly what he needed to handle it.
Yep.
Outposts and towers and castles and all these things.
All of his towers on the front side of his base. The castle in a nice position. This other tower here to defend the wood line.
Yeah,
just
really,
perfect.
really nice. Lix did break through the wall, and you can see to this day in the game, it's not been repaired. And he just came in there with his conks. He had good mass, but wasn't really able to get anything done.
No, he couldn't run
Max
past
got
the
up
TCs.
to Imperial, just had a bigger eco the whole game, and eventually came out ahead. Really, really nice to see.
Really well played. By the way, thank you, Smarthy, for the 16-month sub. Thank you very, very much.
It's a lot of months.
That is a lot of months. That's almost a year and a half.
That is. What's that? Quick maths. 12 plus 6 is 18.
18. 16 is
Oh,
almost 18.
You're right. That is nearly 18.
Yeah.
Not quite, but...
Yeah. Well, I said nearly. I didn't say it was.
No, that's Smarthy, not Nilly.
Yeah, my bad.
Damn it, Robo. Damn it, Will. Stupid
Yeah.
jokes. That was, okay, good first game. Second game, rather. Bringing the score up to 1-1. Next up will be Lombardia. This is the next map that Lix has not selected, pardon me. This is the next map that TheMax has selected. So,
That's the wrong one.
this is not a home map, but you know what I'm trying to say. A map that he picked, a map that he is probably confident on. And are they cows? I see in the
They
in the
are
picture.
cows in the picture.
Do they have more than sheep inside them?
They have 150 food instead of 100. So that's lovely. Free 400 food for yourself.
That implies that cows are better than sheep. No, it doesn't. It implies they're bigger than sheep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Which
is
is more or less accurate and
That's
consistent
very-
with the
yeah.
with the world. God, these devs, they've based the game on the real world. Wow.
what's next? What is the next real life thing that we're going to get in this game? What do you think?
No, I was thinking, trying to come up with something
Something witty and
something
intelligent. Yeah.
yeah, but
It's
I
like,
don't
no.
have those things.
Yeah. We
Just
don't have thoughts
long
like that.
pause. Nope,
No,
nothing.
nothing. Whales. Yeah, we could have whales like AoE3 does for gold in the ocean.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. Well, they're an infinite source. You don't have any infinite things.
Yeah, well, no, it wouldn't be infinite. It'd just be like a
Yeah.
gold mine in the ocean.
I've had the AoE2 guys froth at the mouth when you suggest infinite.
Infinite
sources
gold.
of
Relics
carry.
relics are enough infinite gold. We don't need more
No,
than that.
thank you. But they're very different games, right? And AoE2 does not have... Whoa, these town seas... Yes, they're very close together.
They are very small distances.
And,
One big hill splitting the two players, and
yeah,
that is
okay.
all.
On the bottom of the map, in the color blue, we do have TheMax. The score is 1-1. He beat the Viper in the previous round. Will he see another victory in this series and make his way through to the grand finals? Watch on to find out. And do not spoil it if you already know the answer. There are cows on this map. And
zooming
the first
in.
one...
There's
coming
Betty.
in.
Betty coming in.
Yeah.
Gonna get mauled by these villagers, taken down for some beef.
It's quite... She's willingly walking to her death, which is noble, I suppose.
She understands the greater good.
Yeah.
The the Empire
The
needs...
Max must go through to the finals. She knows it. Spawning in the north of the map, in the color red, though, we do have Lix off the back of a defeat on his home map. We're now on a map that Max has picked. Let's see what he can get done here, but this is not something that he chose to play on, but he's probably fine playing it anyway. This is Lombardia. It is an Arabia-style map, and players will almost always be very, very experienced and have had a lot of practice on Arabia, so I think he'll be okay here. I don't think he'll mind that. And he is going to be playing the Franks, and it is actually a Frank war. That's something I've noticed in AoE too as well. You like to say, like when there's mirror civs, a Frank war.
Yeah.
Or something
Well,
like that.
it's a war between the Franks.
Yeah, you're
Like,
not wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. That is exactly what it is.
It is exactly it.
But I'm just assimilating, right? I'm saying what you guys say.
That's good.
It's like,
You're becoming one of us.
one of us.
One of us. Yeah, exactly. Franks on this map is simply because, as you say, it's an Arabia-like map, and Franks are one of the best Arabia civs in the civ pool.
Right.
And they need to pick civs out of the civ pool up to a limited extent. 3 games out of the best of 5 must use civ pool civs.
So to my understanding, this is Europe West.
Yes.
Why did we see Mayans earlier? No, that was from a previous... No,
That was on the 3rd game. So in the best of 3, you have to use 2 civs from the civ pool, and then in the 3rd game, you can freely pick.
Okay.
Same thing with Indians. Then on the civ pool.
Right,
either.
yeah, that's true. Okay, I actually had only now just spotted that. I thought for some reason it was only the civs from the region you're playing in, but
we
that's fair
initially
enough.
considered doing something like that, but then we felt it might become a little bit too restrictive. Because, like, let's say there's only 1 water civ, and you're playing 4 water maps. It's like, well, that kind of sucks, right? Now you have to start playing with suboptimal civs that are really, really bad game after game after game.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like, it makes sense to maybe force them to adapt once or maybe twice in a best of 5, but possibly having 3 or 4 games in a best of 5, not having a good civ pick is sort of not ideal.
Yeah, makes sense. But we do resist. This results in a Frank mirror, so to speak, and we're going to see very, very even, well, exactly mirror build, so to speak, right?
I would expect so. We're probably going to see both players, going for that 20, 21 pop scout rush, start getting out forward scouts, maybe even a lot of spears is a possibility. We've seen that start to develop over the rounds of this one. Oh, this villager, Max!
Get in. It's fine.
She nearly took a wrong turn going around these cows.
Yeah, Bessie was not taking one for the Empire there.
No, just swatting away at the villager with their tails. Get out of my way.
It's all right. She's alive. It's all good.
But as I was saying, we've seen over the past few rounds a bit of a meta develop where you keep making lots and lots of spearmen. Normally, it's pretty common to make 3 or 4 spears, a couple for defense and a couple to come forward with for some early aggression along with your scouts. But we've been seeing players make 10 spearmen, adding even second to barracks in feudal age for even more spearmen. As soon as you get castle age, you don't make knights, you make pikemen, right? They're adapting to the fact that, so many Frank mirrors, so many cav civs, that there's not really a lot of point in making too many cav simply because...
You just make the counter.
You just make the counter and it works.
Yeah, seems like the natural progression. The next step after that is something like archers.
You go straight into archers just to counter the spearmen.
Yeah, but then you go right back to cav as soon as that's...
Yeah.
It would be...
Because you've already got the stable from the feudal age. So it sort of goes a little bit too next meta in that case.
Right, yeah, that resets after. Yeah. You can't go any further than that. Right.
But we see the only real difference here is that Lix is going for 20 pop-up, Max is going for 21 pops. He's going to be up to feudal age, 25 seconds slower. Not a big deal, got the extra villager, so it's all relatively equal. As long as he can defend for that first minute or so when he's slightly behind in numbers after that, it should be absolutely A-okay.
Yeah, you're not losing any idle time on your TC. That's the important thing.
No. And we'll just quickly mention the maps as we're going up to the feudal age. Max's map is not amazing, but it's not too bad either. He can easily wall to this wood line, wall between these woods, and then he can sort of defend around this side with his buildings to defend the gold, which is pretty nice. And Lix is trying to do a similar thing, right? Walling across the front to defend his golds, defend this other gold here on this side. And I think, honestly, I might prefer Lix's map, because he can easily full wall across this front side, and then no problems whatsoever from Max in the early game. But, oh boy, what's this? Max building a very defensive stable right next to his TC, and Lix even trying to come in here and just get a little bit of free damage on these villagers.
Blue still got his scout, right? He's not lost that.
He
Oh, no,
does.
still
He's
got
back
it.
here.
Okay, I thought maybe he'd lost it and in a response to not knowing what his opponent was doing, just went with a super safe stable
No,
right next
he
to
was
his TC.
running around the back of Lix's base
Okay.
trying to see what was happening.
So that stable's gonna it blocks, I guess, any second layer of farms, but is otherwise fine. And is under the TC. It's not gonna be attacked by something unexpected like man at arms and go down, right? It's
it'll
safe. Is that why it's there?
Definitely safe. And I think he saw that Lix was up to feudal age, one villager faster.
Right.
And if he tried to build the stable out here, the one or maybe two villagers building the stable could get sniped off. Being next to the TC guarantees that the stable will go up. Simply because, if a villager starts to get injured, you just jump in the TC and use a different villager. And here we see Max is just mass producing these spearmen. He has 5 spearmen on the map. Lix only has 3. And this means simply that any sort of engagement, Max should win this simply because he has more bodies, more spearmen here prodding away at their enemy. And Lix's aggression with scouts is really not going to be incredibly effective because there's just so many spearmen running around.
Spearman all-out war so far. Yeah.
Oh, but he manages to sneak in here, and there's no defensive spearmen anywhere in
He's
sight
lured
for
them
Lix.
all away. Look at what he did over on the
Right-hand
just
side,
here.
they're fighting here, and he gets in here. He gets 1 villager, and he still has 3 scouts to 2, so he could potentially, if he gets in like a favorable position, take a fight against these 2 scouts and then come out ahead on that military as well. But back at home, he's getting raided as well. He's going to lose at least 1 villager here, possibly 2. So everything's dead even at the moment. They've both taken 1 loss in terms of villagers, but
Pike
Max
and scout rocks up and will scare those away,
Scare
but
away.
gets blocked by a house.
Yep.
They do find a way around it though, and that pikeman is second pikeman does come in, but does not quite get it, and it's going to slip through this unfinished wall there. He'll be okay to fight another day. But now the dust is settled. We see 29 villagers, 29 villagers to both of them. So you're very, very even, as you said.
1 loss each in terms of villagers, but Max is just ahead on military. 11 to 6, which is almost purely spearmen. He's got 6 scouts and 6 spears. Lix only has 4 scouts and 2 spears.
Right.
So Max is going pretty heavy on the feudal aggression here, making lots and lots of units.
I actually think Lix is ahead. He's getting wheelbarrow in. That's almost teched, so it kind of ahead on Vills because he's had the opportunity
he's
to
gonna
get that slow.
Start to get that eco advantage. You are correct there. The thing is simply, can Max find a way into Lix's base?
Yeah, make use of those extra units, right?
Exactly.
And the answer is the gate is not open.
No, it is not. And here we go.
The spears could
Spears.
open it.
Once the spears get in here, I think he'll be okay to take a fight.
Right.
Look at him go, chasing them away. Oh, there's even more spears coming around the back as well.
Does
Gets
get
1
him.
poke off there, takes down 1 scout.
God, they're quite strong, those pokes, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they have like plus 16, I think, against scouts in feudal age.
Yeah. Plus a number. It's a pretty high number.
Considering their base attack is 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 16 is pretty high. That's a lot.
That's actually it's more or less the same as AoE 3. It's their base is times by 5, so and that would be the same here. 3 times 5.
Oh
is
yes,
16.
yeah, basically.
They actually follow the same trend there. Funny that. It's like they were made by the same developers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We are somehow related. Our 2 different games.
Pikeman. There you go.
Yeah.
That bridges the gap. We
Yeah.
figured it out.
We can all be happy friends now. But here we see, so far, Max, really, his military hasn't really paid off that much. If he can take down the stable, that could be pretty big.
He's got a lot of units on that stable.
Oh, yeah. Going into Castle Age, but all these
Here he
spears
goes.
coming in from the back,
Yeah, push
taking
to
down 1
to
scout
s-
instantly.
Got to save the stable here. A couple of spears coming in from behind, and is enough to scare him off the stable.
For now, that is true. But Max, if he brings all of his spears in here, he can take a good fight.
Can he get the repair on? Send a Vill over there and
He definitely could. Oh, what are you doing, lady?
lady.
You're going the wrong way.
Nah,
Max was heading over this side. He's like, oh, there's a stray villager. Let's kill her.
maybe the Vill is luring them away to save the stable,
Maybe.
or maybe it was a misclick and the Vill died needlessly.
I think that is the more likely case at the moment.
Right, but he's knocking on the door here with a couple of scouts of his own. Does force a repair onto that gate, and really just a very sensitive war. Like just units, very small numbers of them. Everything matters here. That pikeman is going to see the end, but I think it's okay because it's going to buy some time for that stable to go down. All the spears are on it, although it's still got a sizable amount of hit points. It's not going down any time
It's not going down too quickly, but Max is starting to get upgrades. He's slightly faster up to the castle age as well. He's just got +1 attack as well, which affects both the spearmen and the cavalry. All melee units get +1 attack with forging down here on the bottom right.
Right.
So now, if he keeps attacking this stable, he's going to take it down a little bit faster, but I think the 1 vil should be enough to keep the repair
Keep that stable alive.
going, keep it alive until castle age, and then maybe some defensive monks
Right,
or
couple
some
of
more
spears.
spears coming in from the back.
Going to pick off another cav there, forces them away. He's going to force them right into the path of more spears and cav, but he's going to get away. This has been, very much a stalemate in the middle of the game. There's a couple of early raids. They both lost a few villagers each, but ultimately they lost similar numbers of villagers. It does look like Lix has pulled slightly ahead in the villager count, but that's actually because I think Max went for wheelbarrow. So
They both got wheelbarrow.
They both got so he's slightly ahead. But now we're moving into the second sort of portion of the game almost. Players up to castle age, and let's see if this stalemate is broken now with castle age units and gameplay.
We're seeing both players instantly doing pikemen and bowsaw, upgrading their military, upgrading their eco, also dropping a TC each to secure some more of their base, get their eco booming as well. And Lix is also going for a siege workshop, interestingly enough. Maybe he wants to get a mangonel to just shoot over his buildings, take down the pikemen. Maybe he's even thinking of a scorpion could be an option. They're pretty good against infantry. They've got a slight attack bonus, I think. But otherwise, only a defensive monastery for Max. He's not going super heavy into military at the moment. Just a monk, maybe try to convert a knight or two, even just convert two pikemen could be useful.
Yeah, well, whilst there's no ranged units at all yet, monks actually seem really strong.
That's it, for sure.
So they seem like a sensible unit choice at the moment. But early days in this castle age, pikeman has come in. We are starting to see knights come out for the Max.
Just a few of them just roaming around. They're not like the bulk of his army. It's more just, maybe we find another stray villager and we can kill them. Or,
right. And
or we find a stray monk that's getting a relic and we can kill them.
A couple of fast, mobile, moving units as well. And they're just strong and useful to have around. But Mangonel shot does come out, not going to... Was that a volley? I don't know. Second does not hit.
No, I don't think he really got any of the pikemen there.
Okay, and that's going to repel the pikemen for the time being, which does sort of break that war in the middle of the map, and now we're going to have to do something else. We can't just sit here and take shots from Mangonel.
No, we cannot. And there we see Lix actually getting a convert off on these two knights that were roaming around.
Oh, nice.
And we've also got a third TC coming up for both players. So they're both very much transitioning into big ecos.
Big co's.
Big co's.
Or B-co's. There we go. No, you're not a fan of that?
No, I'm not a fan of that, unfortunately.
Chat, back me up here. B-co's. That's where it's at.
Getting the Bicos. Not happy.
All right, then.
We're seeing also a defensive siege workshop for Max. He's worried that there
Convert!
could be...
God, that's long. Or why is it still... Oh, it's gone.
It stays as long as you're clicked onto the knight. Like, the monk will chase the
Oh,
knight
right,
all over the map trying to convert them.
Okay, it wasn't actually, ticking over
No,
then.
it wasn't ticking,
He
but
was
it was just saying that, if the knight comes back into line of sight, the conversion will continue from where it left off.
Yeah.
But once he clicks away onto, some other task, like crafting a relic, then it resets.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
And we see here, Lix is actually spreading out quite effectively, actually, trying to find these relics. He's got this one, this monk's beelining it over here for this one up here. And he also sees this one as well. So he's going to grab at least 3 relics. Whoops, that's the wrong button.
Does the villager population only shows the villagers? There's no other...
It doesn't show how much gold you're getting from the relics.
Okay.
We can see that on this screen with gold per minute.
Okay.
Kind of.
Maybe that's a more interesting graphic? I don't know.
At this stage of the game, it doesn't really say too much, though, because
that's true.
Lix has slightly more wood, but he's also spending more wood because he built the earlier siege workshops and things like that, whereas Max has more food because his TCs are up faster.
I'd like to see the wood, food, and gold per minute actually displayed in a bar graph, that you can toggle on and off. But I don't know if that's...
Mangonel trade. So you can compare the two players side by side?
Yeah, because reading, obviously 500 is bigger than 400, but to know exactly how much bigger is, you have to look at it and figure that out.
Right.
But if you can see, how much income per second, is changing on, a graph or something, that might be... Anyway, I don't know.
Trying to snipe that monk there, those scouts. Not successful at all. The big group of pikes just roaming around, saving them.
Integers.
Yeah. And in AoE 2, there is no percentage multipliers that I know of for anything whatsoever. Everything is just a flat, you get +1, +10,
Yes.
plus whatever.
It's all predefined.
Oh, and then there's also some units that have a negative bonus, like enemies will deal more damage or things like that, but it's all just, flat numbers. That's just how the game is built and designed, and it's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Hill bonus
What is
is a
that?
percentage.
What is that?
That's a bear.
Why?
It's
Why
like
is there a bear?
It's like a wolf, but
Oh, right.
Lombardia has bears instead of wolves.
Okay.
Look at it go. Roar.
Is it stronger than wolves?
No, it's actually the exact same. It's literally a wolf, it's just reskinned.
Right. Okay. It's just reskinned. Right.
Bloodlines is not a percentage. Bloodlines is plus 20 HP. The Frank bonus is percentage. Okay, there are some bonuses that are percentage based, but there's no like flat multiplier other than Hill bonus that's percentage.
Okay. Whereas in AoE 3 it's the opposite. Like everything's a percentage or multiplier, and there's no flat bonuses. Anyway.
And resounded, yes, the bear does have its own attack sound. Or maybe you're just talking about my bear sound.
Yeah. The bear sounds in the game was voiced by Robo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's how
Yeah.
that works. DE. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgotten Empires asked him.
I'm not supposed to talk about that, but I do have a job making
He's
sound
a voice
effects.
act.
Yeah.
It's a side business.
Yeah, in my spare time, I make sounds like that.
Right. Okay, so what have we seen? Because now Imperial Age is coming in for Licks. It looks like we're now going into what I would call the late game.
We definitely are. The question, though, is what is Max up to? Like, Max
He's
has
doing
a
all right.
bigger
That's
eco,
a huge eco.
but he's not up to Imp, and he's also got more military, so he's spending his resources somewhere. Got a lot of pikemen here on the front, 18 pikemen, and a bunch of siege weapons, so it looks like Max is trying to go for, like, a big Castle Age push. He's going in here, forward castle, it denies both of these golds. This could be big. The problem is going to be, is Lix able to get Imperial Age siege weapons out fast enough? He's researching chemistry. Bombard cannons are going to be on the cards pretty soon here. But okay, the counter tower, and there's 4 mangonels roaming over here. That's not going to work.
That's a lot of mangoes. It's almost like a tropical fruit bowl right there coming in, and that's going to, I think, stop the forward tower.
It should. He's shooting the palisade wall instead of the villagers, which
tower does go up.
Tower does go up, but the tower will just instantly go down to 4 mangonels.
This is big push, but on the left there, those knights are cleaning up the monks. But he does not. Well, he kills a few.
He loses most of his military there, but he still has 10 pikemen somewhere?
Yeah.
I don't know where his army is. Max has army. It's just over here, it seems.
I'm really liking all these outposts. Like, I feel like you never see them, but actually you do. That's
Let's
completely.
take a look. What can Max see with all of these outposts? He knows that gold's there. He can see these monks and pikemen are over here. He can see if there's any, expansions around this way. So yeah, he's doing a pretty good job. He's keeping an eye on things.
Oh, where did that? How long was that castle in there?
And that castle just went up.
Right.
Just after the tower went down, the castle went up. And here, oh no, Max. This is a bit of a big misplay here. Walking the mangonels straight into the enemy pikemen. Losing 3 of them almost for free. And possibly even the 4th mangonel is about to go down. And he has just now scouted Lix, moving out to this extra gold at the back, building this TC here. And oh, rip, there goes that mangonel.
There goes the mangonels. That's that's exactly what Lix needs here. Max is 25 vils up in eco. He needs these small victories where he takes out some mangonels, some monks. He just needs these small mistakes from Lix. Sorry, from Max. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
here
he
we see
needs.
Max coming with another castle drop, denying the stone, denying this gold, denying some farmers as well. Preparing to push into these knights and do some raiding. The problem is, I don't know if this Imperial Age aggression is going to continue to work for long. Sorry, the Castle Age aggression, because there's bombard cannons here, which are pretty good at taking down castles if he can defend them. Can he defend them?
Do you think he can? That ram has just opened up a hole there. I guess there's a lot of how strong are the bombard cannon hand guns?
Hand cannons are not particularly good against rams, but they're pretty good against everything else. They've got a high attack, 17 base damage.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is you're saying Castle Age. So Max is still Castle Age.
He's going full, all-out
and
Castle Age aggression here.
He's done a lot of damage. He's got 2 castles down. He's really caused some issues for Lix. But I think losing those mangonels and the monks earlier, maybe that was enough to let Max, who is Imperial, a whole age up, start getting those really strong units out. Bombard cannons, hand cannons here. Do you think he's going to start pushing back and repelling?
I feel like he can. As long as he has enough military sitting on his bombard cannons to prevent them from being taken out, he should be able to just destroy these castles basically at will. Move on to the next one, destroy that too.
This is petering out then. Max is aggro.
It could be. He still has a lot of military back here. It's just not doing anything right at this moment.
Right, he needs to get some effective use out of it, right?
Like he's running around here, he's going to raiding, causing a bunch of idle time here. Lix has 70 vills, and almost half of them are idle. 30 idle villages at the moment.
Damn.
Which is not ideal whatsoever. And it looks like this TC here
The Max is building a
going
castle,
to go down.
says the overlay there.
I would not build that castle right there.
That's an ambitious castle.
There's 2 bombard cannons here that could instantly destroy it.
Oh god. Oh god, we'll see.
If he notices and shoots it...
Ah!
No, Max destroyed it. Max deleted it. He's like, nope, that's not going to work.
All right.
Let's go back a little bit.
He's like, that was a bit ambitious.
Yeah.
I'll just go back, yeah.
But here we see this castle, sorry, this TC is going to go down. These villagers inside it will die unless these pikemen can save them.
Yeah, but he's... maybe. I mean...
Maybe. But here we come with the bombard cannons. They're still on. They're still firing away at these castles. But oh boy, Max is coming around the backside as well. He's just sort of even laming Lix's gold here, stonewalling it in.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do. I'm pretty sure he did delete it because he instantly built another castle.
Which would have been difficult if you didn't have the stone for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had 1,300 stone or whatever it would cost.
It's 900 francs to have slightly cheaper castles.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
But yeah, I don't think he had 1,000 stone at that point.
Is he committed still to castle? Like,
He definitely is. He's only got 300 food, right? And it's the same in AoE3. If you spend those resources going up to the next stage, right, you're not... That's resources you're not spending on anything else for the time being. So, I think at this stage, his only real out is to just keep dealing damage, right? Keep Lix's eco low. Keep him... Oh, man, another castle.
Yeah.
Denying this goal. Like, this is what he needs to do. Keep being aggressive.
Just keep the momentum up. If he lets up, then suddenly Lix just gets back into it, reclaims all that lost territory, and sort of will be... Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
Because as soon as Lix manages to reboom up to 100 villages, then Max is going to have problems. But if that doesn't happen, if Lix stays at, 60, 70 vills while Max has 140, double the villager count, going up to Imp himself, by the way, then he has really good chances here. So, like, Lix basically has to spend the next 3 minutes dealing damage to Max while he's up to Imp. Because I think once Max hits Imperial Age,
yeah,
that might be...
And Max is
the
going
GG.
there now. So this is like he's keeping the pressure up, but he's going up as well at the same time.
Yeah, but so he has relaxed the pressure a lot. He's only got 15 army now. He was sitting around 20, 30 before for a long time.
Right.
But I think this stage, it might work out okay. Right? He's denied this TC at the back. He's probably going to destroy this castle if Lix doesn't pay attention. He does destroy that castle.
Yeah, and the Rams are going to...
Take down that TC2. Lost a lot more vills. He's back below 60 vills. He's not on this gold. He's only got a handful of villagers gathering gold. Lix's eco, look at it. He's got almost nothing in the bank. Let's take a look at resources gathered in the past minute.
Yeah, that's...
Like, look at it.
It's more than double. Like,
There's 1,000 extra wood, 400 extra food, 100 extra gold, and roughly equal on the stone. It's just crazy, right? You've got double the villagers of your opponent. It makes sense that you're going to be gathering more resources than they are.
That's impressive. He has so many villagers. Like, he's approaching... He's actually more than double in terms of actual villagers.
Yep. It's crazy.
So, sure, he's losing some ground now because he had to let up and he wanted to get to Imperial Age himself, but that's nearly in. He's going to start getting those upgrades, and then he'll be pushing back out and reclaiming the ground that he lost. And being in the Imperial Age, he could max what his opponent's doing, except with more than double the economy.
And he's also spreading out his economy nicely, right? He's gathering wood out here, which is far away from the rest of his eco. So maybe Lix pushes here and he kills 20 villagers here. It's okay. He's got 40 villagers on this side that are safe. If he comes here and attacks this gold, these wood bills can run someplace else, right? He's just spread out all over the place, whereas Lix's eco is basically centered on this sort of like column of space. There's some wood bills here, farmers and gold right here, and that's all. Everything else is sort of, it's out here on the side, trying to expand, but there's still this big forward position from Max, taking this gold at the back, by the way. He can always push back down this way. And sure, kill the TC. Not a big deal. Max just ran away with the villagers, kept them safe. They can work another day. And he's fully upgrading a ton of units at the moment. getting +4 armor for his knights. He's getting leather archer armor to upgrade his skirmishes.
But, it's looking good. Max has got all the upgrades he needs coming in, but let's focus on Lix for a moment because the pressure has been let up. He is pushing into this position now because his opponent had to spend time going Imperial Age, like we're saying, coming in with a lot of pikes and hand cannons. He's forcing the Vils off. He's denied all these farms. He's making ground. He's achieving things. Do you think he can get much more done, though? Is there much time left before Max can push back out?
Very short amount of time. And the problem is he hasn't actually really killed any of the eco, right? Yes, he's denying these farms, which is brilliant. But, he's making more farms over here. He's able to make more farms on this side if he wants to. He can make farms up here.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't kill the villagers, they can always keep working somewhere else.
Okay, but surely there's got to be some value to this. Those farms are worth a lot of wood, right?
It's definitely valuable, but it's not enough.
Maybe they're not worth a lot of wood when you have 140 villagers. Who really cares?
Yeah, like it interrupts his eco. Like he's got not a lot of food at the moment because most of his farming eco is now idle.
And I guess one of the issues for Lix is he's just not got the siege. One treb and a bombard cannon is not enough to make a lot of ground, right?
And like at
Here
some
we
point,
go. He's up to the
Max
Imperial
is just
Age.
going to come in here with his upgraded military. There's no halberdier. There's not enough pikemen here to counter this many cavaliers. The skirmishers are here as well. He's going to destroy this military, and Lix is like, well, I can't stop this.
And the winged hussars arrive. That's from a rock song. You've probably not heard it.
No, I have not.
But yeah, that's going to be it there. He got his upgrades in and then comes out with the counter push. And that's another really interesting dynamic, actually. I liked the continued sustained castle pressure whilst his opponent went to Imperial Age. Didn't work out for Lix, though. It looks like from going Imperial, he lost a bit too much ground and was forced into too much of like a tight box in his base. And just look, blue is everywhere on the map. He's almost surrounding him.
He's everywhere. He's got eco in like 3 corners of the map, essentially, which makes it really difficult for him to raid. Whereas here, you see just 2 cavaliers have come in and killed some villagers here. He's got some throwing axemen roaming around here, picking off villagers too. He's got Trebs preparing a push this way as well. He's just everywhere, just full control over the entirety of the map and this game.
Beautiful. Max taking the lead on Lombardia here. Bear in mind, that is a map that he picked himself. Coming up next is Highland, which was one of Lix's choices. And I think this is quite different. Lombardia open, Arabia style. Highland closed. You can see the ice that connects the 2 land masses together. So quite a different map, and something I expect Lix will have prepared for, given that he picked it here. And maybe he can even up the score there. It's 2-1, as you can see. Max leading the series here on match point. But let's see what Lix can do coming up next in Highland.
In just a second, once we load up this game.
Yeah. What do you think of Highland then? I suppose we can talk about that once it starts. But for me, not a map that... This would not fly in AoE 3. People would not want to play this map.
Honestly, in AoE 2, people don't really want to play it that much either.
Right. People don't like these closed maps where it's hard to
where there's
get
just
over.
the one choke point, because these games can become pretty big stalemates.
Right. But there's 2 types of maps, I feel like. There's maps that players love playing and that viewers hate watching, and maps that players hate playing but viewers love watching. And I feel like this is the latter. This is something that as a viewer I would love to watch, because they're very narrow passages. There's a bit of a stalemate going on. You've got the opportunity for like water landings across this river. It's a lot of fun, but it can be quite frustrating to play, which I think is the points we were making. But we'll see how this goes. I'm looking forward to it. It is Highland.
I feel like this is a good map to have in moderation.
Okay.
Right? Because like the way ECL is set up, you see these maps for a month or so, and then it goes away, right? If you had to play Highland, every week for a year, I think a lot of players would consider, quitting Age of Empires, right? But you have to play it for a month or so, and then it goes away, and you don't have to play it again. And it's like, well, cool. Yeah,
refreshing. Right? It's different.
And it gives you some variety.
There is that, yeah. But yeah, I think this will be a fun map to watch. That's my initial impressions of the map. I don't know. I've not seen this played out. But here we have Lix in the south of the map in the color red, playing as the Vikings here. So we saw them earlier, but on Arena, or Fortress more specifically, actually, with all the big defense, and you can really get to Castle Age, get your free handcart and wheelbarrow, and it really pays off. But here, this is different. Not going to be going for that, I think, so much, because Water Vikings, I know, my limited experience tells me.
Yeah.
Vikings are very good at water.
Vikings are good on water, and
And
this is definitely a water map. And we can see that Lix is thinking, okay, I want to play a water-heavy strategy on this map. I want to control the water, make galleys and galleons and longboats, and try to win the game through water control.
Right.
On the other side, we have here Max. By the way, he does have this bugged gold.
Oh.
But we did see a chat message a minute ago. Somebody told him that he had a bugged gold, and he said, "Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
No worry, guys."
So he played on. But here he is in the north of the map in the color blue, as you said, playing. He is playing as the Malians.
The Malay, actually.
Oh, okay. Pardon me. Mal. You can see where I got confused.
Yeah, it's very similar. There's a couple of civs like that.
Right.
And Malay are also considered a water civ. Their bonus is they age up to the next age 80% faster for every age.
Ah.
So it's sort of like the fast age politician in
Yeah,
AoE3.
so it costs the same, you just go up quick.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, you can go up to feudal age and you make, 2 or 3 extra vills and you still get up at the same time as a normal civ.
Okay, or you could perhaps go up quicker and get some water control sooner
Yeah,
than your
and you
opponent
get on
can.
faster but with less eco behind it.
Yeah, what do you think he's going to do? How is this going to play out, Robo? I'm interested to see, Vikings, that traditional water civ, versus... This definitely wasn't in AOC when I played back in the day.
Definitely was not.
So this is a new one. I say new one. It's probably been out for a few years now. But,
yeah,
how does this play then?
I think Max probably tries to get up to feudal age pretty quickly, get water control. I think they're both going to play a bit of a mirror strategy here.
Okay.
The problem, though, is the Malay, one of their unique techs is thalassocracy, which basically upgrades all of their docks into harbors. And a harbor is essentially a mini castle that doesn't cost stone.
Wow.
So
And
every single one of your docks has a ranged attack, fires a bunch of arrows, and it doesn't cost any stone.
And you can build them all along the coastline?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So
Why are they not both playing Malay?
maybe simply just didn't think of it.
Right, okay.
Right,
That
but
sounds insane.
If you get to the late game and the Malay have any shred of water control, they just build docks everywhere, take full control of the shorelines, everything that's nearby, and then, once you've got your side of the pond, or the river, I should say, you go to the other side and you start to build docks there, and they have a ranged attack. They can shoot land units too.
Right.
They're still really good at killing anything that comes near them,
Okay,
essentially.
you say castle, and I think of a really tanky high HP building, but I guess docks are still docks, and they still have less HP. So they're probably...
It gets extra HP compared to a normal dock, but it's not as much as a castle.
Okay, so they are killable. They're just strong. But
Yep.
it makes... Okay, so what we're seeing so far is both players going up to feudal, but of course, blue is going to be further ahead, to be expected given his civ, and both players just walling off that passage on the shallows and building some fishing ships, but a landing.
Lix has that early transport ship.
Okay,
A
so
1-vil landing seems...
like he's going to build a forward building of some description, I would assume.
I feel like it's a little... half and half, though.
Go to line of sight. This could get dicey. No, it's over there. Right. Is he going to see it, though? That's a big deal. He spots the transport. He's going to see it.
Oh, yep. And now he knows that there's possibly going to be a landing happening at some point.
Oh.
And also, Malay, their docks have twice as much line of sight. That's one of their other bonuses. So it's like, oh, you're walking past my dock.
God, there's Lix right now. I'd be like, God damn
He
it.
gets back off on
He's
his
just
side.
he's like,
Screw it.
I don't care.
I'm done.
You saw it. It's not worth it. Fine. But I guess it's going to be in... Maybe... I'll tell you what he does. It's not. You can't do it anymore because that galley's going to take down the boat there. But what you do is you hide the transport ship and just keep moving it around the coastline of your opponent and making them think there's a vill there somewhere. Oh, it's so sneaky.
The problem here is Lix was clearly preparing some sort of a land strategy, right? He's on berries. He was probably going to build a barracks and then build a stable and, make some scouts.
Oh, you're right. The fact that it was scouted actually is really bad because he set up his eco for I don't know, let's say he was going to
Making scouts, I think, is the likeliest thing.
Right. And now his eco set up for something that he was going to do, which he's now not going to do, which is kind of unfortunate.
And he's got no villagers gathering gold, so he can't really make defensive warships. So...
Why is that Gaia? Why the...
So he was receiving Voodoo messages during the game, and that is saved in the recorded game file. So just sort of ignore that. Because, again, we know this game continues. He was told there was a bug map, and Max said, I'm
just
fine.
The fact that it was called Gaia, I was like, well, the wolves...
Yeah, capture age
Mother
says
Nature
Gaia.
is speaking to me. Okay, all right. It was actually Trireme by the sounds of it.
Yep.
Okay. But what are we seeing then? It was not a landing. How is he transitioning his eco? Is he okay?
I think he's probably just going to try to get to Castle Age pretty quickly.
Oh, that's more or less the same. Doing scouts, I feel like that's...
Right, he's got the heavy food eco going already, so he
Yeah.
just goes up to Castle Age quickly and then try to retake water with, Castle Age boats, because he's obviously lost it in Feudal Age, right?
Make a house banned immediately. Spoilers right there.
Spoiler alert, the game does continue, exactly.
It's a bannable offense. Rip.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed chatting.
See you next time,
Yeah.
buddy. The thing here, though, is Max has not done any eco upgrades. He's only just doing double bit axe now, which is a little bit late.
Just for context in the YouTube VOD,
Well,
he was spoiling the fact that the game continues.
Yeah, sorry about
I didn't
that.
want to sound like a Nazi, just for anyone who doesn't got the
Yeah,
tape.
is a little confused by that.
Banned. Good use of the slash me there. I like
Yeah,
it.
but here we see Max should notice that Lix has tried to build a redock. He should get over here pretty quickly with a fire galley. Maybe move this one over. He's making a new one here, and yeah, here it comes. Nope. No, he changed his mind. He thought about it, and he's like, nope, we're not doing that.
Right.
Yeah, Lix, he's got the eco. He's trying to go up to Castle Age. And at the moment, things... There's not necessarily looking bad, but they're not really looking good either, right? Max has a big eco lead in terms of units, simply because he still has his fish running around. He's found some nice deep sea fish over here. He's redocked to get closer to it. And, Lix is about to get Castle Age. There we go. He's up really fast time, 18 minutes. But Max... once he gets the amount of food he needs, he can buy some food, by the way, with the market. He's got a lot of gold in the bank. And then with the faster age up at the melee, he'll catch up. He'll be up at roughly the same time, even though he's clicking up slower. Okay, we're going to see this in just a second. Yep, he's buying some food. He's nearly got enough. He just needs to drop off, 30 more food.
Right, and then his Civ bonus just does the rest of the work.
He's going to get up faster than Lix, even though he clicked up almost a minute slower.
Right, that's impressive, but that's just the way the Civ goes, and that's the advantage he's got. So
Exactly.
I guess let's take a look, because in terms of eco, we can clearly see that the blue is in the lead there. Who has the advantage on the water? Because that's the only real contention or thing that you can fight over currently, right?
Max by a huge margin. So Lix essentially has one chance to regain the water control by, getting these redocks here that he's doing, this one up here that he's tried to do. And if that fails, I don't see how he can win this game. And because they're both getting Castle Age at the same time, right? Lix is going to start making longboats, which are, they're pretty good units. They're really pretty. They look awesome. But Max is simply just going to upgrade the units he already has. So he's always going to have a numbers advantage. Because we're going to see he's queuing up more fire galleys and he's researching War Galley. And Lix, now he's at Castle Age and he's going to start to queue up some warships. Nope, that's a fishing ship. We don't want that. Yeah, one longboat in queue. And a TC and a monastery as well. So he's sort of, again, just doing like a little bit of everything. Like he tried to go for the landing, which I think was nice. But it was only one villager, so it's not too likely to be effective. And then here... He's going for a TC and built all these docks, and he's not really making a ton of military units. So he's made one single longboat, and then that's it. Right? Like, he's not trying anything incredibly well. He's doing a little bit of everything. He's trying to boom a little bit, try to go on water a little bit. He's still got this dock as well.
He's having commitment problems.
That's it. That's it, exactly. And we see Max is doing the same thing, but he still has water control because he has all of these boats roaming around. So he can afford to be adding these TCs. And with the fishing ship lead that he has, which, is starting to expand, he's also starting to drop fish traps as the melee. Cool other bonus that you very rarely see, their fish traps have infinite food.
Hot damn.
So, and they're also cheaper.
Wow, so is it infinite or is
It is infinite, but there's no way to display that, so they just put a really big number.
Right, that's the maximum integer.
That it seems Age of Empires 2 can handle.
Right, I feel like they should just change that to say INF. If it's that number, then it probably is that number, actually. It's just you'd never get through it. So Capture Age is probably displaying...
No, the game displays the same thing, just one really massive number.
Oh, okay.
But it basically is infinite food.
Right, I love that.
And
that's
you make
brilliant.
a fishing ship, you make a fish trap, so between the two of them it's like, 150 wood or something, and then you have food for the rest of the game.
That's an interesting...
So you don't really need to make too many farms early, right? He's concentrating all of his villagers on wood, on gold, on stone, everything else, and just relying on these fishing traps, right? And he's fully upgrading his farm tech. He just got heavy plow before he placed the first farms.
That's a really fun upgrade. I really like that bonus. That's cool.
It's very rarely useful, but when it is useful, it's... Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Are there any maps? I think Arabia has ponds on it, right?
Yeah, you would never build a dock for like 1 or 2 fishing ships.
Oh.
Like,
infinite food?
Mm,
Surely over the course of 5 minutes that pays off. Or longer. I don't
it's the thing is, like, fishing traps are pretty slow to gather from.
Right.
So it's not the ideal thing that you want to do just because you can, right? Like, he built the fishing ships firstly for the free fish that are already there.
You wouldn't have free-for-all, says Carlini.
Okay, free-for-all maybe, sure.
That's... Okay, well, anyway, back to this game. We're off on my AoE 2 side tangents. I'm exploring the game. This is fun. But back in the game, Monk...
Gets the convert.
Oh, he's all right.
Nicely done. And he's also collecting these relics on his island, just getting his eco going. But we see Max coming forward with villagers, possibly thinking of some military aggression, but he's also dropping a 4th TC at home. So, again, we're sort of seeing the players like in a mixed, sending mixed messages to us.
Maybe,
what are you really thinking?
But maybe that's like keep your options open. Is it that you don't you want your fingers in all the pies so that like you can be more flexible and adapt your game plan? I mean, I don't know, but you tell me. Is that an explanation?
I guess like
if they
yeah,
commit
that
too
makes
heavily
sense.
to one thing,
and then it doesn't work out. Yeah, that is definitely a problem. I will agree with that. But I feel like Max, it doesn't really matter what he does. As long as he does one thing really well, he should be able to win this game simply because of better civ and then better play in the other game. Winning the water,
yeah,
just completely set him up.
He seems pretty good. He's as you say, he's got the water 15 vil lead. Seems pretty good.
Kocaster is quite silent compared to Robo. I'm just telling Will to sit closer to the mic.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Get up there, keep eating the mic. That'll help it out, hopefully. Let us know if it doesn't get any better over the next minute or so. Keep us informed, please. And we see also 4th TC coming up for Lix. So he's also, trying to get some boom happening as well. He's up to Imperial Age himself. Max looks like he might be going for heavy Castle Age aggression, just like we saw in the last game. And he's dropping 1 stable, possibly going to see another stable or 2, but this monk might actually see everything. Yep, this monk definitely sees this forward stable. And by the way, he had this outpost here anyway, so he knew that this was happening. Scout raiding coming in and trying to Vilbash the monks and then just getting converted. Nicely done there from Lix. Adding some more Vils to his eco, and now he's trying to wall in the stable before any military units can escape, break out. Gonna lose at least 1 monk, but there's a couple of spears here. I think he should be able to clean this up relatively easily. But otherwise, Max, what are you doing? What is Max's plan? He's dropping archery ranges now.
I feel like this map limits your comeback potential as well, in a way. So that early game
definitely does.
Is almost like game deciding. Is or at least a lot more important.
Well, yeah, of course. Like if you win the water control, even if you don't like heavily invest into military on it, like just having like 20 or so warships going up and down means that if the enemy ever wants to push you, they have to kill your land army plus these boats that are attacking them as they go across the small slither of passable terrain. And it completely prevents any sort of landing, but Max can build a transport ship and drop 4 villages here, or here, or here, whenever he wants to, if he wants to.
Lix now up to the Imperial Age. Looks like he's first to get there.
He is the first. Max is actually, not too far away from clicking up to him. He can do that pretty quickly if he wants to. And it seems Lix is trying to go onto water again. He's building this castle here to secure some space, and then he can build some docks of his own.
Right, and the castle just can give you a lot of control of the ocean.
Yeah, because it's got enough range that boats can't really pass by without taking any damage.
Is it going to go up?
It will. Most of these villages are out of range, and there's only 1 warship here that has a long range. The fire ships have only got 2 range. The war galley's got... That's not war galley.
Castle's up.
Castle's up. These boats, they're going to slowly die. I think he needs to back off, Max. Like, you want to keep your boats alive so they can fight another day.
Perhaps click on the castle. Can he take it out? Is that no?
Not going to happen.
So the boats do need to get out of there. Of course, there's always a lot going on in any RTS game. So maybe you just came back just in the nick of time to save the rest of the boats there.
Exactly. And here we see he's making some karambits out of his castle here, coming in trying to do some raiding damage with these incredibly cheap, incredibly spammy units that they are. These units, for anyone that doesn't know, they only cost half a population space.
Does Capture Age know that though?
I don't think so. Not on the current version. I don't believe so.
So how does it add them up as one each?
You're going to go over 200 pop pretty quickly.
Right.
But
Okay.
in a normal game, this guy is only worth half a pop. So you make 2 of them, it's 1 pop.
Yeah.
And they're very cheap. It's only like, 30
like to
food,
see it-
15 gold each.
I'd like to see it count them as half, but only display rounded up numbers or rounded down numbers or something.
That could also work.
Yeah. But, okay. So take that with a pinch of salt. If there's lots of...
Right.
I want to call them Coambwans, which is a RuneScape food, but yeah.
They are karambits. So they're very cheap, very generally shitty units. They've only got 30 HP. They're weaker than a villager with their base stats almost. But the thing is, you can just make a ton of them really cheaply, really quickly. Because they create in about 6 seconds each, I think.
Right.
So you just, click the button. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one, etc. And you just get a huge army of small little dudes really quickly. But Lick's trying to get back onto water. He's dropping down his docks. And a couple of trebuchets as well to take down this forward castle from Max. But
When are we going to see these harbours?
these are harbours now.
There they are, Will. Okay.
There they are. They've got 9 range. They've got 6 + 2 attack. And they fire 3 arrows at a time. So any of these units, if we see a boat come out and walk towards its harbour, it's going to start firing arrows away at them. And even the docks will fire at the other docks across the river. And it seems we've got a bit of a copy passer in chat.
Coambran is a fish native to the tropical island of Karamja. It can be fished by players with level 65 fishing or higher, granting experience, etc., etc.
Oh, we're getting the RuneScape copy pasters in chat now.
Right, there you go. This looks incredible from TheMax. Those harbours just littering the coastline are going to give him... They're like mortaring arrows.
Yeah, they
An
just
absolutely incredible
chucking them over the river.
defense. How does Lix get on the water with that? It would be so expensive, right, to get any kind of boats out. He'd need siege just
He
to...
didn't
He's
use his trebuchets to sort of try to take down a couple of the harbours and give him space to move into. I think that's his first option. The second option would be making something like some siege rams to move around and tank the arrow fire. Because as we all know, siege rams have lots of HP, lots of pierce armor. Anything that fires arrows generally doesn't do particularly well against them. So that's one option that he can go for. But soon Max is going to have a big navy of his own. And he still has these forward villagers roaming around. So he has potential to do land aggression at the same time. Whereas any military that Lix makes has to cross this narrow little causeway, go past all the war galleys, all the fire ships, past the harbours as well. And yes, the harbours do get upgraded by fletching and bodkin arrow and bracer. That's where they get the +3 attack and the +3 range, respectively.
Right. It looks like this is actually a very even game. Max is ahead on villagers, and I do like his position on the water better, but it's not enough. Obviously, it's water. You can't convert that into the land. It's not like you can move the boats into your opponent's eco or something.
It's not going to win the game by himself, but it gives him a position to win the game because he can get cannon galleons at some stage and then start clearing out all the buildings that are near the water.
Okay. Yeah, floating cannons seems pretty strong.
Yeah. Like we've seen the land cannons, we've seen the hand cannons, we've seen the horse cannons. Now we're going to see the floating cannons.
The water cannons. The only thing we've not seen is the building cannons.
No, we haven't. The Malay could build building cannons.
Right.
That is an option. The bomber towers are in their repertoire.
Are there any other kind of cannons? Find out next time on ECLZ. I like this. Oh!
A couple of galleons pop out, but then there's just so many...
Oh!
That's
Oh my
a lot
god!
of them.
Whoa! Where did they come? He's been building them for a while. It's time to go.
Yeah, so he's got a couple of rams nearby to tank as well, which is nice. But you see, these ones here, just getting absolutely mown down by these harbours. And now, they try to push forwards. The rams, he needs them in front to do the tanking. He needs to allow the galleons to not deal free damage, but the harbours, just look at them. They don't deal a ton of damage individually, but it just adds up over time. Just
Yeah.
all this damage from a building that costs 150 wood.
It's just really, really effective, right? Like it just helps you control the coastline really, really well. He's trying his best with the galleys, the rams,
Yeah,
to secure a bit of extra sort of time. He's carved out. It's working though. He's carved out a portion of land for himself. He's got Trebs working on these docks down here, and these boats are kind of pinned in the bottom of the river. If they're going to receive support, they'll have to come by the castle first.
Past the castle, past all the other docks where more military units can just pop out and attack them.
So Lixie, he is getting back on the water. He's pushing back. He's making ground, but I still like TheMax's position better in this game. But let's see what he can achieve. This is more that, I thought it would be really hard to get back out, but he's stockpiled so many boats. They've now come out for this big push, and it looks like he's getting some work done with them.
And we're seeing, again, Lix has just 3,500 gold in the bank. We've seen this a couple of times now where he just hoards resources like a madman for a long, long time. But just a moment ago, I saw TheMax research cannon galleons. So he's going to start making the floating cannons and start taking down these buildings, start pushing forwards. And I think he's just going to continue building more and more harbors as he pushes forwards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pushes Lix into this corner and then gives him nowhere to go.
Well, that villager is like thumping on that dude's back.
Oh, yeah.
He's
That's how you repair people.
You smash their back with
Yeah, you
with
whack
a
them
hammer.
you hit them with a hammer and then they'll get better.
Okay.
That's how it works. And on this side, there's really not much happening. There's a couple of Trebs out, taking down a few harbors. Nothing too serious there. This is where the big fight is happening.
Yeah, but his boats are dwindling. Lix's boats, they're running out.
And even with the siege rams dealing a little bit of tanking, it's not really enough at the moment. And then these fast fighters, they don't care about your rams. They're not going to get distracted by some pesky rams. They're going to do some tanking. Tanking of their own. And those bombard cannons, they were dealing, a little bit of free damage, just firing away, getting some shots off. Now we're seeing, what's the military like here?
Yeah. So, why
They're fairly equal in terms of boat numbers, honestly.
Why Vikings, though? What are your thoughts? It just feels like... I mean, I don't know, but these harbors look incredible.
Like, I think, it makes sense. Vikings are a really good water sieve. Making galleons and longboats, they have cheaper dock units, so, it's easier just to make them all.
Right, it's cheaper. Okay.
Right. I think it's like 15%
That sounds like a pretty solid bonus.
discount on all warships, which is amazing. Oh, that poor galleon has gone trapped on land. The Flying Dutchman is unable to sail no more.
Oh, how did that happen?
Just pathing.
Right.
When there's a lot of units standing next to each other, one of them tries to go around, and it goes around onto the land and then it gets stuck.
Yeah, I've seen like hussars trapped in gold mines on AoE 3. Like,
Yeah, things like that just happen sometimes, which is unfortunate. But here we see another big fight, and unfortunately Max is sort of going the wrong way with some of his galleons. He recognizes, oh shit, Lix is getting back on water on this side too. I'm trying to treb him down, but he's just destroying it. Taking down my trebs with his own galleons, and now I'm in two minds. Where do I need to fight the most? Lix is actually coming back.
Could he make a push here? He's got the rams.
He could. He's got the trebuchet here to start taking down all these harbors. The rams can take down the harbors too.
He needs to wall up quick. Those rams are about to enter his base across this narrow crossing.
And Max, all that he really has to defend are a handful of Karambits up here.
Quambrams.
Karambit, sorry, yeah. And they're going to die really quickly to these mass galleons. Otherwise, he's got no land pressure whatsoever on Lix's island at the moment.
He's taken his time to get those rams over. Maybe that's not his intention.
Maybe, I guess, but I feel like he's taking a lot of free damage from these harbors. But here come the Karambits. They're going in. They're going to start tanking and just die in like 2 or 3 shots from these galleons.
Fodder.
The nice thing is that they get to deal some hand damage against all of these galleons because they're standing on the shallows. I feel like that's a little bit of a misplay from Lix. If he'd moved all of the boats off the shallows, then the Karambits would be almost useless. But instead, he's taken a few too many extra losses there, but he's still in a good position. He has 60 military to only 47 at the moment.
It looks like we're seeing a cap switch now from Lix. He's dropping a stable.
Yep, getting light cav.
Yeah, he's getting scale barding armor as well. So going to see a transition into cavalry, and that should, maybe that's why he doesn't want to cross the river just yet. He needs, some sort of supporting land unit. The rams can only go so far before they'll leave the protection of the boats.
I feel like the light calves are more just going to run in there and start raiding, right? Pick off these villages wherever you can find them. But oh boy, I just saw forced levy getting researched for TheMax. And this is another one of those really niche late game techs. It makes the militia line not cost any gold.
Oh, that sounds pretty good.
But in return, you don't get champion. So like you're capped at 200 swordsmen, which are obviously not as strong, but they don't cost any gold.
Okay.
Which...
Is that a fair trade, do you think? I mean, if in the super late
Well,
game, obviously, definitely.
In the beta, which I was in, the gold-free champions were just overpowered as hell.
Right.
Every game that I played with them, it was basically get to Imp, research Force Levy, upgrade my champions, and then sling all my gold to my teammates. Right, so
you don't need it.
Right? I don't need it anymore.
But this isn't a team game. It's a 1v1.
Well, then it's even better, right?
Oh, right.
There's less gold on the map, right?
Yeah, okay, you
can
validated right there.
Yeah.
Right,
you
sure.
spend the gold on things that are useful that you otherwise wouldn't be able to
And
have
that
as
is a
many
tech he is getting. So
He's already gotten it.
We'll see the two-handed swordsman.
Coming
So
out at some point in this game, I would expect.
If he just... And that means he'll have more gold for rams and indeed anything else.
And ships and
if
everything.
we go super late game, that's going to add up.
And we're seeing the first floating cannon coming out. The elite cannon galleon is here.
Which somehow have like matrix slow-moving balls.
Yep, that's how it works. And 200 swordsmen, by the way, tech is coming in. Here comes the gold-free champions, or soon to be 200 swordsmen. They're just going to chug across here. And it's like, remember, they have infinite food, and then they have really good units that only cost food. So it all sort of combos together.
I'm seeing the synergy, Robo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you keep making these docks to defend your free infinite food. These docks that have really good attack and don't cost too much. Everything just like lines up to make a really niche civ that in certain situations is like overpowered as hell, and in other situations is just normal.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those games where Lix needs to get in here and deal damage to Max before a game gets too late. Sniping these cannon galleons would be the first step on this road. But nope, they're instantly noping out of there.
God, Lix has made so much ground. I just thought it wouldn't be doable. I felt like Max, the harbors...
I thought he would have just built more harbors, right? Like, he's got 6,000 wood. He should just be building harbors constantly everywhere.
Maybe he can't.
Opinion.
Maybe he can't get down there. Do you think he's just afraid of losing villages and building the harbors? It's just tough to get them up without support from your own boats.
I don't think he should care that much, right? Like, you lose a couple of villas, just build them again. I think that should be fine for him. But here we see the elite cannon galleon going to take down this castle. He's going to take down these docks and then secure this right-hand side of the river, I guess. Coming forwards now for more harbors. And then I think he'll concentrate all of his efforts on the left-hand side. But the light cabs, they're coming in. They're going to try to snipe some of these bombard cannons. But the cheap, trash 200 swordsmen are here. Look at them swing their broadswords and take down these light cav.
Long swords.
Are they not broadswords?
Well, they were long-handed swordsmen before, so I guess they are different now. Maybe.
That's a demo.
They're two-handed sword. Yeah, we'll settle on that.
Okay, well, yeah.
Can't really argue out that one.
No, I can't. They definitely have swords that require two hands.
Okay.
I will give you that.
Long-handed. Yeah, we were wrong. It's two-handed. Okay.
Well, I knew it was two-handed swords, but like I'm talking about the sword itself that they were holding. But the harbor creep is back on. The galleons, they've almost secured this right-hand side. The cannon galleons just need taking a couple more docks. Nope, they're turning tail, going back the other side. They want to take down the castle, take down these forward docks, protect the harbors that are going up. What's this transport ship doing? Why are you making transports? You need more boats, Max.
Sneaky villager or something.
Oh, there comes the villagers. I guess he wants to maybe get over here and just steal that 400 gold. Could be worth it.
Long-sworded handsman.
That sounds a little dirty.
Right.
Yep. Will's just looking at me like, no, you didn't have to go there.
I was coming up with something else. Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, fair enough. We're too witty. But the water battle continues. It is still on. There's Brams to both players trying to get in there and tank a little bit.
Rages on.
Rages on, that's it. And look at the siege rams, just all these galleons just concentrating, firing here while these other galleons just come in and fire away at them for free.
Are the Malay capped ram?
Yes, they are. They are, for sure. And these galleons are even coming in as well from the other side. Where did that transport ship go? I think it died. The villagers must have gotten into the transport ship and then, been destroyed. But Lix looks like he could win water control here. Max is really heavily cornered into this one small little space here.
Yeah,
if Lix can keep the pressure up here, he could possibly win the water.
this is really impressive.
And possibly, win the game if he gets water control.
And to boot, he's taken a lead in villages as well for the first time in this game. So pulling ahead economically, taking the water control, and the fact that he's got the siege rams, which are better than the capped rams as well. It's just everything about this is going really, really nicely.
It is. But on the other side, though, we see Max. He's getting a landing in. He's dropping some barracks as he wants to get those trash 200 swordsmen raiding in. And then with these harbors that he's building, he's securing this little corner, and he's ready to transport over some 200 swordsmen. And it looks like Lix has taken a few too many losses against these harbors. He's had to pull back a little bit, giving Max a little bit of space to keep rebuilding his numbers on the water. And the rams, there's no more rams in position. He needs to bring these ones up if he wants them to stay useful.
Two mended handsmen. Men-handed longsword.
Man-handed.
So that last one got me.
Oh, but Lix, it seems he's got up some fortified walls trapping in this landing. They can't get out, it seems. But no worries. We have a transport ship. We can go round. But the galleons, though, they're in here from Lix. He could maybe snipe off this transport ship before it lands. Nope. Where's it going?
What's inside?
There's 10
two mended handsmen.
There's 10 two-handed men swordsmen. But no, he
There
managed
they
to
go.
drop them off.
They do get out, and
They're
they're
in.
going to get themselves on top of that Treb right away.
One Treb is going to go down instantly, but there's a castle here to defend. It's going to clean up the barracks pretty quickly. The thing is, these are just going to run back here and try to find villages wherever they happen to be. Oh, I didn't even see this. Lix actually has a couple of arbalests here. If he can destroy this monastery and steal that relic, that would be pretty good. Let's just take a look at the relic count. Lix has 4 relics. That helps explain why he's had so much gold all game.
Ah, just the infinite flow.
Yeah. Infinite flow. He's got 1 relic hidden here in the back, and there's another monastery here with 3 more.
Is that what's keeping him? Do you think that's what's has made this push so successful? The fact that that this gold hasn't sort of petered out, and he's able to keep up boat production.
It definitely helps for sure.
Are there any boats that can fight that do not cost gold?
No.
So these are a finite. Eventually, the game does draw to a close, and the ocean, the boat counts just stop growing.
Yes, it definitely does. The only other thing that I can think of is Max has slightly more land on his side thanks to this sort of strip here.
Yeah.
But there's like 2 trees on it, so it's not like he has significantly more wood on his side of the river.
Surely that's not relevant until the wood runs out on one side.
Sure, but these games can go incredibly long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because it can be such a big stalemate.
And this is turned out to be a really long, drawn
But here
out.
we see the Karambits just mugging, just surrounding the arbalests and just mowing them down with a horde of shirtless, crazy men. And just charge in there with their big knife things.
Right. Here they go.
And they just charge off someplace else. Look at how quickly they sprint all over the place. They're like so energetic. But oh boy.
So did 2 men. Speaking of the devils, oh no, they're long-sighted 2-mans coming in.
We see a land push, it seems, coming in from Max pretty soon. Got a bunch of bombard cannons and rams prepared. He's re-harboring to secure more space, and oh boy, here comes the Karambits as well.
Stop it, guys.
Are we going to see 2.5 men swords soon?
2.5? No, I hope not. Oh god. Oh dear.
Warambits. Oh, but Max, come on, just back off a little bit. You've got all these rams nearby, but oh man, so does Lix.
So the choice of Vikings is becoming a lot more apparent to me. Over the course of an entire game, that many boats, when you're building that many boats, the savings become
insane.
Yeah, so that really does,
Oh god, that's a huge navy. What? That came out of nowhere. Holy shit. Lix has got some pretty good chance here. Wrapped cam.
Yeah, the wrapped cams are coming across the river to fight in combination with the...
It's a Nuge Heavy. The Nuge Heavy is here. Oh god. You people are clowns. But Lix has now run out of gold, right? We were talking about how he had a huge stockpile, and now it's down to basically nothing. But he has got a huge navy. I think this is almost a do-or-die effort now. He needs to get in there, take control of the water, and then try to win this game. Otherwise, Max is just going to continue with this, like, essentially free harbors that cost basically nothing and is such infinite damage potential.
That's the thing. Like what the harbors to me seem very strong in the early game when you're establishing water control and there's not that many boats, and they seem really strong in the late game once the gold has disappeared and they're much harder to destroy and contest because siege is more expensive and blah blah blah.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're getting to that point, it seems, where the harbors are going to start being very, very strong again. Thankfully, though, for the Max, he is the Vikings. No, he's not. Pardon me. Thankfully for the Licks, he's the Vikings. And also, he has all those relics, right? So that's going to help him continue to produce boats and stay in this game.
And Licks did have fortified falls here, but they've all been destroyed here by...
We're going to throw in our own ones.
No, I got that from Chad.
Right. I feel like it's the kind of thing we should sneak into the commentary without anyone realizing.
Quanaria said it first. I'm like, yep, that's a good one. I'll get that in there.
Fortified halls.
Oh my god. In terms of the the game, the trash the two-mended hand swords are continuing to charge across the causeway. And yes, they are dying in huge numbers to these arbalests and castles, but they hardly cost anything. Max does not care. He's just going to keep chucking them into the meat grinder. And he's still, like, with these harbors, it's so difficult for Licks to really do anything. He's got a couple of rams here, but there's more of the...
Those.
Yeah, those.
It's like, what are we calling them again? I don't... It's hard to pronounce.
Yeah. I just often think every time, because like I want to call them the two-handed swords, and it's like, no, I'm not allowed to say that anymore.
The TMH. Two-handed men.
THM.
Whatever. Yeah. What are the boat counts, and when does this end? Does it end?
Well, it's gotta end. It has to end at some point.
Where's the gold? How much is left? Oh, 1,600 on the map. See, these numbers I would
normally
not usually look at,
but that is actually useful. We're running low on gold. There's a little bit here.
I'm not sure why I need to know there's 120,000 wood left.
And there's still some gold here on the back of my
Okay, it's there, right.
It is there.
There is gold, but it's like we're getting to... This is exciting. We're getting to the point where we won't see any more gold, and then I'm looking forward to seeing how that affects the dynamic of the game. I'm really impressed with the harbors, though. I think like that, once the gold is gone, is what's going to give the Malay here the edge. But having said that, there's Siege Ram, what would that be? Reg Sams on. There's Reg Sams over on the side of the Max, and he might be able to use them to push forward. Having said that, though, they did not last long.
No, the men two-handed swords are clearing up the rams.
But there are Weege workshops on that side as well, producing more.
More of them. Yeah, that's true. There are more Reg Sams coming out, and the galleon mass.
Well, the Wallian gas. There, big Wallian gas.
Oh my god. And I keep hearing Zach just giggling in the background. Oh my god. This Licks landed on the left-hand side. Oh boy, there are more Weege
Circ
shops coming out. I gotta stop. I can't keep doing this. I'm literally trying to cry.
It's alright, it won't be funny next game.
No, it won't. And there's some stables as well, so he's gonna make some horse units to do some raiding. Uja rams. Oh my god. But I think at this stage, Licks' military is just gonna keep falling further and further behind. Because there's just so much trash being created by Max at this point. Like, the trash infantry units, the trash ranged units, the trash castles.
This Malay looks so good.
In this late game scenario where there's no gold left.
Yeah, the free two-handed swords is very, very strong now. You just sort of spam. They cost nothing but food, right?
Right, and they cost 60 food each. So it's a decent amount of food, but if you have, tons of farmers like he does all over the place, it's not too much of a cost. And he's even pushing back on this right-hand side. He's going to destroy this landing. Licks is winning. We just don't see it yet. Okay, can you explain to us, how is Licks winning? He has a good KD, I'll give you that. He is winning in the KD count, but that's because Max just doesn't care. He's like, oh, you killed some of my trash guys. Well,
how many relics does he have, actually?
Licks has 4 relics. Max only has 1.
Right, so that might be enough. Like, that's a lot of relics. Maybe it will be enough to keep up some form of boat production and units to match these two.
But like, look at like these light cabs. Like, there's nothing attacking them except for harbors, really, and they're just slowly getting taken down. And now there's some galleons as well. But there's so much free damage every time they run through.
Yeah. God, can we take a look at the eco of the Malay? I'm just imagining farms everywhere because the Kite Lav and the Two-Handed Swordsman, they cost just nothing but food, right? It's just pure food.
Yeah, there's just farms all over the place, and they're all spread out as well. So you can't just raid one position.
Can we look at his base? And Robo's like, yeah, the whole base.
Yeah.
Capture Age.
Capture Age. Woo! And we'll take a look at the other side at Lix's base, and he has.
Yeah, we could even look at both bases at the same time.
Yeah, but then it gets a little bit too far away. The problem here for Lix, I think, is he's actually starting to run low on wood. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, we'll take a look at how many trees he has. He has 27,000 wood out of 105,000 wood left on the map.
That's a good point.
Right, and all of his wood is sort of towards the frontish. So, if Max takes back water control, he can't take these trees. He can't take these trees either. Oops, double click on the trees. Yeah, right, he's got 30,000 wood. Oh, I've gathered some of those ones. But, right, there's 30,000 wood, including these ones, on this area of the map. Just in this corner here, there's 70,000 wood. Which is essentially all free for Max to take if he can defend.
Can you make a landing there and grab the wood?
I think that's what he's trying to do. Like, if he can secure this side, then he's got a chance. But, like, these light calves... Oh, my God, I completely screwed that up. These light cabs are just going to get absolutely shredded by Two-Handed Swordsman. Like, their stats are fairly similar. Like, they've got the same HP, but then the Two-Handed Swordsmen have got, 16 attack versus 9.
Right.
So they're just going to absolutely cut through them in any sort of engagement. And they're even cheaper than the light cabs. 60 food versus 80. So at this point in time, I feel like we're going to come towards a slow demise. Lix.
This is through and through a war of attrition. The whole game has just been about who can spend their resources the most effectively, and it's going to come down to running out of wood even.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
And yep, Max does have a 13 infinite fish traps. So remember, he doesn't have to spend as much wood on farms because he has infinite food.
Yeah, that explains some of the wood, extra wood he's got on his side of the map as well. They seem like the ultimate war of attrition, Civ. Free food, units that don't cost gold.
Units that don't cost wood either, just food.
Yeah.
To combo with your infinite food.
And look at there's no stone left on the map either. So it's not like the Max, the Lix can carve out water control by dropping a castle on the river.
No.
It's just doing that is going to be just annihilating your other resources by spending them all at the market.
And here we see Max is actually landing in a pretty large force here. He's got a couple of bombard cannons to take down this castle. He's got a couple of Two-Handed Swordsmen as well to take down these rams in front. Supported by his naval support ships, the offshore bombardment coming in. He's going to take down this castle. He's going to deny this wood line from Lix. And then Lix has almost no wood left once this is gone.
Yeah, where do you gather wood at that point? And that's going to be it. Like, what do you do from there?
So. Like, he's still trying, right? He's still massing as much as he can, trying to do these big raids. But, every time he kills 5 or 6 vills, Max just replaces them and says, kill. That's fine, no worries.
See you later, Heranian.
Heranian.
Neon, okay.
Thank you for the gift subs earlier, by the way.
Yeah,
cheers for coming out here and supporting us like that. Really appreciate it. Oh, but this could be big, though. If he can get this raid off, maybe pick up a couple of bombard cannons. But no, all the bombard cannons survive. The harbors are now starting to come up on Lix's island.
Oh my goodness.
Which is just going to make it so much more difficult for Lix to push back and take down the sort of area of the map Max is securing. And remember, like, these harbors, they can deny the wood lines too. If he builds one on this side, it can range some of the vills who are taking the wood here. He's running around, he's trying to raid, but Max also has strategically placed this castle here on this nice hill towards the back of his base. It's not really in range of the water, so it's not useful for that, but it just defends bits of his economy. He's also got his TCs all around here defending his farming eco. He's still got a little bit of gold here that he's not gathering. Like, at this point in time, everything looks like it's coming up Max. The Two-Handed Swordsmen, they're running around now, raiding these villages, hunting them down, trying to deny this wood line. And yeah, Lick still has, 3,500 wood, but at some point, he's going to run out of wood. Right, it's sort of inevitable at this stage that either he wins the game or he's going to lose because he's run out of resources. And this castle's about to go down. Lix is almost completely off water on the right-hand side. Max will come back around to this side and start to take it down here as well.
So this begs the question, can you get to a point where there's no wood, gold, or stone, and therefore you can't make farms either, and there's like no resource income at all, and people have got castles on both sides, so you can't go near each other, and like it's actually just a stalemate because the optimal play is to not attack?
There have been draws before.
Right, and how do you determine the draw? Like there's no draw mechanic.
But you just start again.
Oh, right. So you have to agree that with your opponent, right?
Essentially, yes. So there was a water tournament called Master of Islands in, I think it was 2017. And in one of the finals, maybe one of the semi-finals, or the grand final between Tato and Fire, they had a draw on one of the maps. And, we got to late game. I think neither of the civs had cannon galleons.
Right.
So, any towers or castles along the shoreline can't be killed. And it was essentially, we've got roughly equal military. There's no resources left. There's no incentive for us to fight. We'll just start again and that's fair.
They both agreed to it.
Yeah.
Because what if you get someone that's really stubborn? It's like, no. It comes down to who's got the most time.
The admin would probably say, okay, this game's not going anywhere, just start again.
Right, okay.
They had Japanese, but they ran out of wood. Okay, that was it.
I could imagine them sitting there at a LAN with their arms folded, just like,
yeah.
Let's play rock, paper, scissors.
And then it also happened in the 2v2 DM tournament, the Legacy Cup last year, where on Team Islands there was a draw, where they essentially just ran out of resources as well. It's like, well, okay, we start again. Because they're just buying wood. And, both teams have full trade carts. And it's like, well, the wood price is 1,000 gold for 100 wood. It's not really viable to keep making boats. Let's just start over. And yep, that's a good shout.
Fun. All right.
Yeah. But we still see Lix trying to do whatever raiding damage he can, but he's losing pop drastically. 150 pop, barely able to keep that. And Max is still just pop capped at 200.
Yeah, so we're not going to see a situation like I was mentioning here. It does look like Lix is struggling to keep the population maxed out at 200, which is, where you need to be if you want to fight efficiently. His boat mass is starting to dwindle. There's harbors absolutely everywhere. He's really losing a lot of ground, and soon it will be Lolf over when he runs out of resources.
He's run out of wood now. We take a look. Well, that's a little bit too far out. He's got almost no villagers chopping wood. There's a couple of villas down here, and that's basically it at the moment. And KD is actually, as people in chat pointed out, it's balancing back out. For a long time, Lix had, 100 more kills than Max did. But now it's balancing back out.
Just where is Jumbalax going to gather from? I just don't know.
I've got no idea. But as you were saying about the draw, there is no incentive for Max to ever agree to a draw because his Civ has infinite food, remember?
Yeah.
So essentially, he just needs to do everything he can to win water, and then make 40 fishing ships with infinite food, and then even if he's selling food for 14 gold, it's still infinite, right? He's got infinite access to everything, exactly. Or just keep spamming 200 swordsmen forever, right? He has so many options if it gets to that. Literally, there's no resources left on the map situation. So I feel like from this point, there we see Lix has finally called it GG. He has said well played, and Max wins the semi-final. He beat the Viper. Now he has beaten Lix, and he's going to go into the grand final.
Hot damn.
Against the winner of our next semi-final that we're going to see pretty soon.
I'm rooting for the Max here. After I saw him beat Viper, and now winning here against Lix as well. I don't know why. I just find myself... This is the first 2 games we've casted together, I guess, and I've seen him